Didn't you hear? Aliens are coming.
That was one of my favorite things, are all of the fun releases. I jotted a couple of my favorite alleged released information that we got while we're waiting on the Epstein list to tie this over while they're trying to hide it. That was the big one.
Coming in November.
They very recently were talking about not just that interstellar object, but like, hey guys, it might be a spaceship. There could be aliens on it. It's pretty crazy.
They're doing the same thing that we did to the Iranians, where they're like, we're going to bomb your nuclear facilities in 5 days, so please evacuate.
Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe in that Machiavellian way where they always they flood the zone with information. We're all anticipating that they're like flooding it to distract us from the Epstein files. Maybe they're flooding the Epstein files because they're like, fucking aliens are 48 days out. We don't need people panicking right now. We're trying to get our defenses. So let's just drop this Epstein thing. Trump, act like you had the files and then yank it back real fast.
Wait, what's up with we're supposed to be visited in some X amount of days? Is that what you just said?
I'm sure the days are incorrect.
There was some sort of news release like a couple days ago that there's an alien thing coming. It's going to arrive in November of this year. It's coming with the craft, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure it's bullshit. Epstein's far more important. But in case it's not bullshit, Epstein's the perfect distraction.
Okay. Pull away. Yeah, it started off, I found somewhere that it was July 1st that we spotted this object and they released some percentage chance. Like, what's the percentage chance it could actually hit Earth when it comes into our solar system? And it's some, 0.02% chance that it could hit Earth. And like, okay. And then more recently, they were like, actually, it's more like 2%. And it might be changing direction. That doesn't make sense. We were thinking it might just be aliens straight up that are coming to Earth. So they're really, really shining the flashy object in front of us. While we're on it, I jotted we got some extra JFK files, some extra MLK files. We got the Obama-Russian collusion now. We're reversing that one. We're doing a remix. Instead of Trump-Russian collusion, it's to Obama-Russian collusion. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw right-wing news. We might throw Obama in jail. That's pretty fun, right? You guys probably don't care about Epstein anymore. If we're talking about throwing Black Jesus in jail, that's pretty wild, huh?
Lock Her Up is coming back, one of his greatest hits.
Yep, that was right. That came back. Even the Kamala one, they said, you know what? Kamala was a VP, but that doesn't make her above immunity either. Maybe we need to talk about jailing Kamala Harris. Isn't that fun, guys? Isn't that more fun than some little pedophile island that we talked about a long time ago?
this massive pedophile ring that the deputy director of the FBI made his entire following talking about, and Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, cut his teeth, and all of these things. Yeah, no, there's nothing to be said about that.
I was trying to do an impression of him, and I couldn't bug my eyes out enough.
Oh, that's what you were doing?
That's what I was trying. Maybe I need to get closer to the camera while I did it.
You don't look like you're being held hostage, though. You just look like you're
There's something visceral and real about like actually having your family threatened with death.
Right.
It's something you just can't method act your way into in a weekend.
Yeah,
training.
I guess
there was even I think the last fun one I saw was Obama and Biden made up the Epstein file. I saw that one out there too.
Nice.
Now, guys, they just tricked me. They tricked me, and they only put my name in there.
Maybe they played charades with Biden. It's like, Biden, come up with a word, a noun, and a place. Private jet.
Private jet. Epstein. Pedophile. Trump.
The smell of a child's hair.
There we go.
You can't use that one every ad lib, Joe. Unique answers, buddy.
I actually like that. That's probably the most. I like that answer. It was made up by Obama and Biden. That's fair. Hoax.
Turns out they just fooled all of you guys into getting riled up about this, and fooled me onto running half my campaign on releasing the list. And I'm so embarrassed that I don't want to like show you guys the hoax by any means. That wouldn't be necessary. Why would I unveil all of that evidence? We do have a videotape of a door in the prison that he was hung in. It's not his door allegedly, and there's some video skippage in that.
There's like a
video,
minute missing and sloppily thrown together. Wait, did you guys see? I don't. And I will say, I don't know if this is a real article because the headline like rage baited me, so I didn't actually want to click it, but it was something along the lines of I was the person that edited the metadata, and I'm unapologetic about it. And it's like how I'm teaching women to like have a revolution in the workplace. It was so infuriating. Like if it was
That's
a real
interesting
thing.
I kind of wish you would have read that now, because how did they pivot to that being some message of female empowerment is fascinating.
Anything to rage bait you, I guess. But it does beg the question, like, was the author even the real person involved with any of that?
Who knows?
Or are they just throwing stuff at the wall just to piss people off? Because, I mean, if I had a magazine and I wanted some quick clicks, bruh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good way to get some people's attention right now, for sure.
Right. I edited the videos. And then salon.com's like, no, I edited the videos.
No, don't you see? We all edited the videos.
We're all Spartacus. Yeah, it's a really good way to get some attention right now, but it's also a good way to get somebody to show up to your house with a hammer after you get doxxed. If you start
putting yourself in it. Dude, show up with a rifle to your office. You know, you never really know.
Like the was it the NFLPA? Was that when that shooting happened this weekend?
He went to the Blackstone office, actually. So Blackstone's CEO of real estate was shot and killed yesterday, I believe.
Oh, well. If there's going to be any generation that's sympathetic to killing somebody who manipulated the real estate market, this is prime time, baby. Every other meme I see is about how we're never going to own a house.
Yeah, it does beg the question.
I thought there was something about the NFL where there was a shooting.
It's a pretty big building. There's a lot of offices there.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, the NFL's in that building, but not on that floor.
It wasn't for a bet that went wrong.
It's
you fixed it against me.
I mean, if anything, you show up after the Super Bowl. You know, they rigged it, of course.
I don't think the timeline lines up, but it could have just been a Jets fan when that Justin Fields got taken off the field, carted off the field news. Just a Jets fan at the end of their ability to put up with being a Jets fan.
You know what? If they haven't snapped already, I feel like the Jets fans have found their what's the word? There was that Russian dude who was demoralization. Yeah, Jets fans are totally demoralized.
Oh, they've accepted their reality.
Yeah, they have no ability to act whatsoever. What
they just take it in stride and they go, "Yeah, it sounds like the Jets." Everything that happened sounds like the Jets.
Absolutely, but we should pivot into the topic now. Now that we've got like a little bit of
say we've had this tradition going. I don't know if you guys wanted to break it or not, but I was thinking we could do a special edition of Ethno Guesser. Do they have a children's version where you can look for young faces across the world?
Where were these children trafficked from?
It's Epstein actually built that app, but it's called Talent Scout.
Oh.
Mayfair.com furniture guesser.
Oh, yeah, that's a deep one. We forgot about all the Pizzagate and the furniture stuff online. Like, is anybody, that was another one where you were a fucking lunatic if you believed any of that. And the more anytime that comes across my feed again, I'm like, I don't know. Feels like they might have been onto something when people were buying a $10,000 pizza.
And nobody offered any sort of satisfactory answers to any of those questions whatsoever. But they got some guy to show up a pizza shop, and suddenly we all had to be quiet. It was
yeah, right.
They got their Sandy Hook for pedophiles.
Yeah. I mean, maybe
take away your media career, no matter how often you're right.
But we should answer actually the real question that y'all wanted to start off with here, because backstage the question was asked of why do we think the Epstein story has stuck around for this long, regardless of all of the non-answers they give us. Like why have the American people just not given up? And what answers do y'all have to that question? And did I get the question right? Or did I fuck it up?
Yeah, that's it. Why are we still talking about it? Out of all of the things that Teflon Don has just slid right through. I mean, I was thinking about this morning where you go through the list of all of the things that people have said, oh, this is going to do him in. Oh, this is the thing that's going to get him. It's going on like 8 years of this is going to do him in. Oh, there's no way he's going to recover from this. And every time it lasts a week and then everybody moves on and everybody forgets. And the outrage, either real or manufactured, subsides pretty quickly because we're on to the next thing that we can't believe that he's going to survive this. And for the first time ever, like the story, it lingers, like out of all of the things, grab him by the pussy, pardon January 6th, you know what I mean? Like the dude got reelected, and it's crazy that of everything that the man has just escaped by, that I don't know. I guess it's interesting that this is the thing that's finally got traction, that people are like, nope, we're actually not going to just like move on.
My favorite one when you were saying all of those different examples was back when I was driving some Lyft and Uber during the first administration, and a very liberal father with his very young son who he had obviously been preaching way too many politics to, who was too young to be thinking about politics, said something to his dad about like Donald Trump and why is the bad man still president, basically. And it was when not even the first arraignment, it was the second arraignment for whatever. I don't even remember what it was for now, but it was one of those, like, it's so clear. By this point, anybody with any sense knew Russiagate was horseshit. We all knew that they had buried Bernie in the last election. Like it was just all these things were super obvious. In the second arraignment, it's not even the first one. They already brought him in and lost a trial, and they're bringing him in again. And this dad turns to his son and he's like, "Don't worry, kid. We're not going to have to worry about it for much longer because they're going to get him this time. I promise." And I remember just like going, "Don't laugh at this man right now for me." So, like, what are you talking about, dude? I just remember thinking, you are so delusional in your own ecosystem to be thinking that. That doesn't answer.
Can you imagine being the son now and you're 16 and all of your dad's promises have just never materialized?
Just haven't mattered.
You didn't even have to graduate high school to realize your father was a fucking moron. No goddamn thing about politics. Just hopes and dreams. No, but to actually answer the question, I think there's something deeper than political on this. There's a moral line that's been crossed that's very easy. This isn't like Trump's a felon. Well, they were manufactured charges and they really went after him for this and that. Oh, he sold us out and he spent all that money. Well, it's only because the Democrats tricked him into thinking COVID was actually a big deal. And if the Democrats didn't work with the Chinese constantly to create viruses in labs in foreign countries, then they wouldn't have had my president confused and he would have been. But there's always an easy pivot for his base. And this was just too in your face. There's still enough honor in American culture or maybe in just global culture overall that like a giant pedophile ring is just not something we're going to forget.
Tolerable. Yeah.
It's a step too far. And I think part of that too is that the way I've been trying to do the elevator pitch for this idea lately is I say the thing of like, as we've gotten more cameras, the correlation of Bigfoot sightings have gone way down, which makes me believe a lot less in Bigfoot. Because you would think the more sophisticated our camera work gets, the more you capture him. However, the better our interconnected communications, internets, and cameras are getting, vastly more and more we're seeing how corrupt and grotesque people within government and our leadership is around the world. So that I'm only finding a stronger correlation and belief in. So it's a little combination of those. It's past the level of being able to just look over it. It's such a moral stain and disgusting thing, combined with we're never able to communicate with each other on this level ever before. We have the internet now, which is why they're trying to like quietly pass legislation to start censoring the shit out of that as soon as they can.
Yeah, no porn in Britain anymore.
Yeah. I saw that the other day. I had to comment on that where somebody said like, "Oh, I really thought that no porn was a good idea, and I was so happy to be on the internet and to be free of my affliction, essentially. But I found out just the other day that they're going to use it to censor all this other stuff too. It's just a backdoor." And it's like, yeah, guys, how have we not learned this lesson yet? There's censorship or no censorship. It works two ways. Do you want Visa and MasterCard?
No, sorry. Who needs porn when there's helpless English women walking around in London? So. Just you don't need porn, young man. Go outside.
Yeah, porn is for the native Brits only.
There's got to be like a percentage of that's true, but like it can't be zero people. How many more tanned than average British young men have like put on a strong pencil mustache and a bit of a Pakistani garb and gone out and been not so nice to some women on the street?
It's a non-zero number for sure.
It's an easy smoke screen. We're already mad at him anyway.
Can't get mad at me because I'm an immigrant.
Yeah, if you can do the accent, that's probably all it takes, man.
Yeah, it's not that hard to say Bob and Vagine for 10 minutes, you know? Excuse me, you're a very beautiful woman.
So what's your answer, Keith?
So this story I actually think has really nothing to do with Donald, and it's actually it's a real story. You know, there were a lot of stories we got about Donald that were just kind of like, what is this? Like the PP dossier and all that stuff. It's just obviously
about that one.
Yeah, you know, right.
Who can really care about that? But you know, this is a story that's been lingering for 15 years. And also one thing that kind of surprised me when I was doing my little deep dive in Epstein, as far as like all of the documents being made public, there was like one release in 2019, and then like some stuff dribbled out in 23 and 24. But like for the most part, we haven't really gotten any closure whatsoever from, you know, lawsuits that are 10 years old at this point, 15 years old at this point. And I think a lot of people are just genuinely concerned because I think the case asks a really deep question about our faith in the justice system overall. You know, are these people who are rigorous actors who are following stories till their bitter end and arresting everyone involved who's a bad actor? Or are these people easily plied by money, wealth, and power and willing to turn a blind eye to something just because their boss says so? And I think that's the real question that people want to have answered, especially when it comes to what we consider to be like one of the most heinous crimes possible.
Right.
You know, child rape, human trafficking, murder. Those are probably like as bad as things get. And to see, you know, I think people just want to know, like, okay, was the government rigorous and there's really nothing here? Or is this some sort of like CIA asset and they're protecting him? Or is this just a wealthy guy doing what wealthy people do and the government saying no? And I think that's why everyone really wants to know the answer. You know, it's beyond like if Trump's in there or not, who cares? You know, right. There's the potential to be hundreds of names. And even like the stuff with Prince Andrew that came out in like 2024 for the most part, as part of like a suit against a bank where some emails got released. And all of a sudden we see that like, oh yeah, Prince Andrew did go to the island. Here are the emails. And it had barely anything to do with Epstein whatsoever. And it's like, how is that how we find out about like the royal family being involved beyond just like the witness testimony that claimed he was there? And then now we have Prince Andrew saying like, hey, I've just arrived at the island. Thanks for having me. Like in an email. Like, how is that when we're finding out? I think that's the thing that really like annoys people the most is like what's in these files. And I have like my own personal black pill about what I think is in the files, but I'll hold off on saying it right now because I think it would just ruin the episode entirely. But
guys, you're going to ruin democracy. We couldn't even run campaigns with the amount of donations that would be lost if we released this list. How could we possibly? It wouldn't make any sense in our system.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Well,
you know, so I wondered this. This was a question that popped in my head. That how is this even allowed to get to our ears? Like, how did this begin to leak out? Like, we had some sexual assault victims or rape victims who've taken this to court, and a lot of them have, you know, randomly ran their cars 150 miles an hour off of a highway into a tree in completely justified suicide manner, as one does when they're upset about their upcoming trials. But like, how much of a moralistic jump is it to start killing kids after you've sex trafficked them to an island?
Probably not much of a jump.
You know, so why are there even, who is leaving these loose ends? This is my, to put on the big conspiracy hat now once again, to get above my normal level of conspiracy theory to make it to the ones that are so deep nobody's even talking about them yet. How does that get out? Like, how do you allow that? If that's your job, wouldn't you think a very obvious portion of that job is, yeah, when they turn 18, you shoot them in the head like a horse that broke their leg, so they don't go out and tell anybody about this, right?
Well, it is a good question. Because the original case in Florida had allegedly 30 minor victims that were counted, but there's always more than what you count. So who knows? But of those 30, we only have testimony from like 4. And of them, only 3 of them are public. And of those 3, one of them supposedly ran into a bus and then had liver failure like 4 days later and died. So, it's possible that maybe some of the others who are anonymous are also loose ends. It's possible that this stuff is just being kept out from us, but also, most of these trial documents weren't made public until like numerous FOIA requests and then lawsuits against the government for not abiding by them, and then additional lawsuits, additional rulings. So, the case is from like 2010 and the releases are 2019 and 2024, so maybe if they're hiding something, maybe the thought was that, oh yeah, we'll just hide it with the courts. We don't need to kill anyone. So who knows?
Maybe that's, I wonder how many of those testimonies came from the island too. I wonder if kids have ever returned from the island, because once you're on that level, that's almost where I'm like, dude, if you're shipping children to an island to perform horrific acts to them, why would you ever let them off that island alive?
Oh, you don't.
But to your point, there's some of those victims are from like court cases in Florida. So maybe he wasn't Jeffrey Epstein yet when those cases kind of got rolling. And that's what, he didn't have the CIA's full backing yet, or they didn't care enough to be keeping that kind of tabs on him. So
there's definitely testimony from the island, from the women who claim to have been victims on the island, at least.
See, that's weird to me. That just doesn't quite add up, because if you were signing me with that job and I had lost all my moral fiber and I was fully sold on, I'm going to make billions of dollars to be a horrific person and facilitate this, I for sure would be killing every victim before they ever left that island. Why would I allow that loose end to go anywhere? That's crazy.
Maybe, but and this will sound a little weird. There's definitely a lot of people who were like repeat victims to the island, in a way, and like they were being paid. But obviously, if you're paying a 17-year-old to have sex on an island that you're trafficking, it's a crime, whether they're consenting or not. It's still a crime. But there definitely were repeat victims. I imagine there was a lot of grooming.
I can't believe woke culture got into this chick's head that she was totally not cool about this after she turned 19.
I mean, that's probably the actual discussion they were having. But even like in the original case, there was one woman who was a victim, but who also received like an immunity deal because she had eventually started helping groom other girls and bringing them to the island. And, there's this whole consensus thing where, you get a bunch of women together and you have one kind of in charge and telling everyone how to feel. And if you're younger or you maybe feel like you're subordinate to her, you're just going to accept her framing, whether it's actually true or not, and whether this is the fault of women or the girls there or just like a feature of childhood, I don't know. But
I was definitely trying to make a misogynistic voice joke there. Like, yeah, you're right. Women aren't responsible enough or intelligent enough to make their own decisions. How can we even hold them responsible?
But yeah, I think that the goal of grooming is to mainly make people think that what's going on is normal and okay. And just for clarity, like his victims, at least the ones we know about, were between the ages of like 14 to 17 when this was going on. And then also there's older ones, 18 to 21 and whatnot, who have aged up into assisting, but I would still call them victims even at that age.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, especially when you're mixed up with, the intellectual capacity of a 19-year-old pales in comparison to our intelligence communities.
I also wonder too about like the documents. Is it standard practice for DOJ to just release stuff, or does everything get buried in the courts until people start asking questions? You know what I mean? Like, does that question make sense? Like, is this standard operating? Like, is it not unique to Epstein in this case, or is this how like every other case that DOJ ever deals with happens, and it's only because of the spotlight that we're like, oh, why is it buried? And is it like, it's a question I just don't know the answer to, but is it standard operating procedure that hey, we don't talk about any of this stuff until people start digging and pressing, and then we'll release what we can.
And this is what makes me a little bit more susceptible to or empathetic, I guess, to the view of the opposite side of the Palantir argument of once we get this new system allowing the FBI and the DOJ and the CIA to communicate more effectively, we won't have these leaks to the public, guys. So you can go back to trusting your government. It's very easy.
Right.
It's all these miscommunications where we fumble the ball and let the public know about it. Right now we have to call the guys and they go yes, that is our pedophile ring. Please back up.
No, that's the Netherlands pedophile ring. You're thinking about the Dutros. You hit the wrong extension, brother.
Go ahead and prosecute them. We need a distraction.
As far as documents getting released, to my understanding, usually there's a public release related to cases at that level where you kind of get the broad details and maybe sentencing.
Okay.
But as far as witness testimony and actual court evidence, for the most part at the federal level, that stuff doesn't really get released unless it's requested, and even then they can still withhold some of it.
Okay.
But it's still a bit weird when it comes to really heavy cases like this. The amount of suing that had to be done to get this stuff released at late dates was a little ridiculous. You have private individuals spending millions of dollars to find out that oh yeah, there's a bunch of co-conspirators that were never charged. That's a weird thing to have happen, and then have the government be oh yeah, sorry, we're still not charging them anyways. And who knows, there could be more documents to this case. I think one of the possibilities that people have to accept when they think about this case is there is a chance that every single one of these 200 something victims that Pam Bondi claims there are was all just Epstein, and he just had a crazy appetite for women. But from I think there's 3 witness testimonies that are public. They all mention other people being there.
Right.
And it's possible that all 3 of these women are just not credible and they're lying. But unfortunately, several things they've said have been corroborated by things that are what's the word? Hard evidence, actual flight logs and where people were. It's oh, you got the date right. You knew exactly who was there.
Right.
So maybe these women should be taken seriously. And also, if the other women speak up, maybe we find out that there are a lot more people involved. But we'll never know, at least right now.
Well, things too, some of the sworn testimonies of the entire house being bugged with cameras and microphones, and him having a control center in the house where they monitored the behavior of the guests of these parties. It's it doesn't feel like one that he was doing it alone, and that he wasn't doing it for a very specific purpose. It's hard. It's going to be real hard for me to believe that intelligence isn't involved with this unless you give me everything. I got to see a lot of these files before I feel safe ruling out that this is some kind of intelligence operation for gathering, or even if it's not, or not the CIA. Maybe it was a foreign country. Maybe it's Mossad. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it was Russia after all this whole time. Maybe they really did have Trump by the balls, and it was on this Epstein thing. I still need to know. I still if something was happening.
It's certainly possible. And among Epstein's connections, there was a former prime minister of Israel. There were a lot of people who were involved in the federal government at certain levels, but also Epstein's history as an independent consultant is kind of interesting. There is a possibility that he is the kind of guy who would actually set up a control center like that to monitor guests, just to figure out how better to approach them for what he was doing. And he was also purporting that he was a spy back in the 80s as well. So he had a fake passport.
Well, who among us hasn't been drunk at a bar wearing a tie and told some chick we were a secret agent? I mean,
honestly, if I lived his life, I wouldn't ask myself to say something like that. But yeah, he had a fake passport from Austria with his picture in it with a different name. It might have even been a real passport that he got, but he was showing it to people. He was telling them he was a spy. One of the first things he did as an independent consultant was he was essentially working as a high-level bounty hunter, a financial bounty hunter for people. So if you'd lost a bunch of money in fraud, embezzlement, or any sort of financial crimes, Epstein was the guy you would go to, and he would recover your funds. So he'd famously done this for a woman who was part of like the Spanish royal family. I'm not remembering her name, but she had invested in like what was essentially a fake company, and the company went under, and they ran off with the money. And Epstein was able to find out where they went, what they did, and recovered the money for her. So I mean, like he was presenting himself as this kind of like financial
sounds like spy shit.
Yeah, it does sound like spy shit, and it's possible that he was a spy, but it's also possible that like presenting himself as such helped his business. So it's really tough to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say that this guy that I think was completely tied up in the CIA by every angle that I could possibly see, and said he was a spy and had passports from other countries and had bug out bags and an ungodly amount of money to spend on everything. You're right. It's hard to say one way or the other. I couldn't imagine making my call on where he might have been.
Oh, it is. And you know, the thing that shocks me the most about his story is like he really lived like the peak boomer life. Like if there ever was a boomer we could really hate for being the quintessential boomer, it's him. Jeffrey Epstein. Beyond just the metaphor of preying on children, like this is a guy who just he went to college and was like, I'm gonna stop, and then just got a job at a bank, and they're like, hey, do you want to manage wealthy clients your first day? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? And then he got fired for some like minor regulatory oversteps, and then he's like, let me just
and bank secretaries.
And I'll just talk to rich people and they'll give me all of their money. And to be fair, he probably was very smart, but at the same time, it's like you could never do that now. They're like, where's your degree?
I need references.
Even down to he cornered the real estate market, got a sweet deal on a couple islands, which is tough to pull off. I was thinking this too. I didn't get to this point a second ago, but even if he's not, and this may be why it's been so hard to get this story out, even if he was a standalone actor, but he had tons and tons of footage on high profile people, you don't think the CIA would like to get their hands on that list, even if they aren't the ones who curated said list? If they stumbled across that and saw half of the U.S. senators on that list, you don't think they might want to hang on to that and decide what they would like to use that for in the future? If there are any particular security breaches they might need an end to a quiet resolution, might be handy to have the world's greatest pedophile list.
Yeah, certainly. And he had a lot of properties where he had lots of social events and social gatherings. And from the witness testimony, there was a lot of child diddling going on at several of these properties. So, I mean, a honeypot like that would be very attractive for the CIA, even if they didn't set it up. I'm sure they would love to have gotten their hands on that, the footage and all of the information, which might be also where some of that footage disappeared to, because, you know, they raided his shit in 2019. And like all that stuff disappeared for the most part. And
it actually answered the question I had. Where's all the footage? If Homeboy has video surveillance in all of his houses, in the bathrooms, where's all of the footage? But that actually does answer it. CIA gobbled it up, buries it somehow. That makes perfect sense. I mean, and I guess on that point though, it does make you wonder. Like, and we've never got a good answer. But why did Acosta say that he was intelligence?
That's a good question as well.
It's one of those things that lingers out there that, like, why did we give him a sweetheart deal where he only had to do 13 months and he had work release and he spent 5 days a week in his lawyer's office for 8 hours a day? And then also this great deal where we promise not to indict any of your co-conspirators in the Southern District of Florida. You know what I mean? It's and you tie all of that stuff into, oh yeah, well, he's intelligence. Like, all right, well, is he our intelligence? Is he Israeli intelligence? Is he Russian intelligence? According to Logan's new theory, to tie this all together. But it does make you wonder. It's like, okay,
this isn't my new theory. This is the old theory, Matthew.
This is the old theory.
With the Jeffrey Epstein
is the Democrat theory.
A Russian asset.
A Russian Jew. It's one of those Bolsheviks that they didn't get rid of.
Damn those.
Hiding away.
This is the first. If I've missed that, then I'm sorry for not listening.
You know, that is a really good point though that you just made that I hadn't really grasped on yet too. But yeah, there's another nod to the intelligence argument. He got the same sweetheart deal that we find out every one of these undercover guys gets when they get caught. All the Ray Epps when they march on Capitol Hill, like all these dudes who get like, that's weird that guy that totally seemed like an undercover cop got 2 months and everybody else is still in Guantanamo Bay for that thing that happened. Like, yeah, there's a reason, guys. It's because he was in on it. Fix is in.
Yeah, no, totally fair. But to be fair, the Acosta quote from what I understand, someone else is saying that Acosta told them that. Acosta hasn't actually said that himself.
Okay, fair enough.
But still,
I mean, guys, I said he's intelligent. You have to listen.
Yeah, he graduated high school at 16. He's really smart.
Super smart. How else do you think he ended up working for this hedge fund that only dealt with billion-dollar clients? And somebody that's got 600 million, like, I'd like you to handle my wealth, and like, sorry, you need $1 billion for me to even take a meeting with you. You're right. That is a very intelligent person.
I forget. I guess he did work 4 years as a junior associate, but he went from like getting fired from being a high school math teacher,
a bad high school math teacher,
within 5 years, in trouble for not being a good high school math teacher, to dealing with billion-dollar clients.
If we want to talk about sweetheart deals, I'm fairly certain he got in trouble for messing with underage girls as a high school math teacher.
And that's
they fired him and said it was for poor performance because they didn't want to tell anyone. Because there was definitely some kids at the school who said Jeffrey was showing up to high school parties where they were drinking, and he was behaving inappropriately towards some of the girls there. And I suspect he's perfectly fine at math.
Being above 18 years old and showing up to a high school party where girls are drinking is already inappropriate behavior. Like,
it is. And I will say one thing also for like clarity. I don't approve of this, but when he got hired to start working at the school, he was just 21 himself. So, he's showing up to girls who are like maybe 3 or 4 years younger than him. It's a little different than like a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old math teacher, but still it's inappropriate. But it is one thing else.
I forgot to bring that up. I did think that when I read that exact little timeline entry there of like, I think I just philosophically disagree with any man under 30 being in a teaching capacity with high school girls. Like, you need to be, because it's a problem with 40-year-old men. We had that issue in our own high school. There was a 40-year-old basketball coach who got in a little trouble.
Our former band teacher, went down for it.
And he was definitely well above 30 years old. So it's a problem with men who have, like,
he went down.
Yeah, men who should be responsible and have had a libido drop off. It's still an issue. You shouldn't have 21-year-old dudes in a room full of high school chicks. That's just bad. Maybe not even chicks either. Like, there's enough problems with chicks, 21-year-old teachers banging high school students too.
Yeah, in general, it's just like a broad problem. Like, you put any teacher among high school.
It seems like the guys do it too.
Some of them seem to be weird.
Turned her in because she gave bad head.
Little boys, the adult men are going after little girls. It's not cool. And I suspect that's what happened to him at that school, and that's why he was let go. Yeah,
he was really just a victim of circumstance.
He can't even help
poor Jeffrey.
I mean, I know that there's a lot of I don't even think that it's really conspiracy. There's a lot of interesting connections, right? That Barr's father is the guy that gave him his job. The guy's got the weird literature book about, I don't know, taking young people and having out young people for sex pleasure things for this new alien race. And there's just a lot of these weird. Ghislaine's father, when he dies, he gets a beautiful ceremony in Israel shown. It's all of these things. They're so connected. The hoops I have to jump through for me to come to any conclusion, for me to say like, oh, he's not connected and this is all part of a massive plot, like the hoops I have to jump through are dizzying. Like the amount of I don't know, convincing I have to tell myself, oh, there's nothing to be. There's like, who cares that, the attorney general that actually arrested and tried to prosecute him, his father was the first one to give him a job, and all of these things. And he also wrote books about the very same thing that he's being accused of, but that has nothing to do with anything. And his accomplice is her father, helped move massive amounts of arms into Israel and also all around the world, and had multiple, it's like, but that has nothing to do with.
He was also a British spy.
Yeah, that's where he like cut his teeth, and a very decorated warrior. Yeah, but it's one of those. It's like, I don't know, the hoops I have to jump through to be like, oh yeah, there's no linear connection to any of this stuff. It's all just circumstance.
That was another one of those views I was telling you before we clicked it on, that I've been listening to Kurt Metzger lately, and that was one thing he kept bringing up, is like, I never would have known about any of this if you weren't fucking it up. Like, it's not my fault. You got to stop getting mad at me and shaming me as the government, because it's like, if you weren't so sloppy with all of this stuff, I would completely trusted you. It's your fault, and I'm tired of getting yelled at because you guys did such a haphazard way of covering your tracks, and I've seen it. Once you see it, you can't not see it. You can't look back, like Matt said. You know, once you've like learned to look into this kind of stuff a little bit, because you're just poked your head slightly outside of the sand, you can't go back to not paying attention to it. You see stuff like that, and you go, it doesn't make any sense. How does that happen?
Absolutely. Because, you know, the little bit we do know about the 2006 trial, just from Virginia Giuffre's witness testimony and like the two other women, he should have gotten at least like 20 years. You know, something pretty crazy. You know, you're trafficking minors across state lines to have sex with them. You've got a gigantic, you know, mob of people grooming them for you. What is this? It doesn't make any sense, man. None of it makes any sense. And, you know, I think, and I'll get to my black pill bit in a little bit, but like, I think it's just law enforcement as a whole just did not want to prosecute him for whatever possible reason. You know, you can come up with any reason you want. And I think that's what we're going to find. I think that's why no files have really come out of Trump's DOJ and Trump's FBI. I think that's what got Dan Bongino just really pissed off about this whole thing. I think once they got behind the scenes and they saw like, oh, and they're like, behold, the Epstein files that we've been working on for decades. And it's like, yeah, it's just the little binder that we gave everyone. We don't have anything else. Oh, we don't have anything else.
Well, I've never considered when Pam Bondi gets up there and says we don't have anything, that there's actually nothing there. And it's not because there's like they're sweeping this massive cover up. It's like, oh no, there's like nothing there because nobody actually had the stomach to deal with this, because everybody was afraid of what the next layer might be, and they're worried about their career. That actually makes a lot of sense. I don't know, have you guys ever watched The Wire? Start to finish. I just finished that, and
nice.
That was that you really moved the goalpost there. If you guys ever watched The Wire, every single minute of the show from the start to the beginning.
well, so I guess the question is like, have you watched The Wire? But then like watching the full series though, because the end, like I guess the reason I bring this up is I like the portrayal of the show, because you have characters and like, oh, I don't like this guy, like McNulty. A lot of people are like, I don't like him. And it's like, yeah, like he's kind of not supposed to be liked because everybody above him are cowards and sniveling bitches and are so focused on appeasing their higher ups that they are willing to cover up do whatever it takes to rise through the ranks. And so anybody that's actually just interested in trying to do police work isn't going to cut it. And if those people who are above him are in position, then there's 100 other people in the department. They're willing to play that game. And it just shows you kind of I don't know. I love that with the realism of like, it's not pretty, it's ugly. Sometimes the bad guys get away. Sometimes there's, you know, you don't get this nice wrap up prosecution and all of the bad guys go away and the heroes are appointed and anointed. It's nope. Sometimes like, nope, they all got away.
Have the like scene at the end of Star Wars where they're giving the Wookiee a glowing orb and patting him on the back. all the heroes
we definitely don't get
do
that
justification.
I have one personal experience that I would like to talk about here, just to kind of like frame this. So a long time ago, I gave some dude $4,000 because I'm a big retard. We were part of this like trading group. We were doing things, and he was like, "I'm just going to invest this for you." But he also did this to a bunch of other people. There were like 500 people involved.
I'm going to invest it on the Cowboys to cover the spread this weekend.
Basically, it all disappeared. We found out he was
for the Super Bowl.
$700,000 from people basically like pretending to be someone that he wasn't. Ooh. And a lot of people gave a lot more money than I did. Like I'm not trying to be like Mr. Moneybags, but like I could live without the $4,000. It's fine. But we all got together in like a group chat. We collected a bunch of evidence. We got in contact with the FBI and the CFTC. We submitted this. We created.
It turned out he was gathering intelligence, so they gave him a sweetheart deal.
Yeah, I mean, he did get kind of a sweetheart deal in the end, but there were a bunch of witnesses who could have provided testimony. We gave the FBI phone numbers, email addresses, ways to get in contact with everybody, and they really just didn't. They didn't at all. I mean, they still made the case, and they like got him banned from like ever. Basically, he's not allowed to trade anything ever. Otherwise, he gets tossed in jail. He has an amount of money he has to pay back, which he'll never be able to pay back. And I'm sure he's never even going to try because it's too much. And he got put on like house arrest for like a little while. But all things considered, it was a sweetheart deal. And like the biggest experience I had with that was just how lazy the investigator was regarding everything. Because like I went together, did all this footwork. I created this gigantic folder of all the evidence. And I was able to look up like the details of the case later on. And like all the evidence they submitted was just everything I submitted. Nothing additional from their agent whatsoever. Not an ounce of groundwork, not an ounce of footwork, nothing. And I'm not saying that all the FBI is like that. It might not be that way, but I would not be surprised if the only evidence we have here is just the stuff that like private journalists went through and got released just through their own like pressure campaign. Because there are initially 30 women who were victims or 30 girls who were victims in the initial case in Florida. Do we have testimony from any of them? I don't think so. I think it's just like the 4 we know about and nothing else. I think that's the big sad part that's inside all of this. Like we want to believe he's an intelligent asset and there's a good reason why this didn't happen. That's the optimistic outlook, is that the CIA is setting up like child rape honeypots all over the world. That's the good ending. The bad ending
side. That's the good side.
That's the good side. The bad side is the FBI is like, yeah, we can't.
Didn't even look.
We can't be asked to investigate this man. We had to interview 30 girls. Ugh, that's so much work. Because you can see the FBI reopened this case in like 2016. Comey's FBI reopened the case. Biden, his FBI reopened the case as well. I bet there's nothing came of those. Nothing came of those whatsoever. And I bet there's nothing behind the scenes either. And I bet that's the real black pill, is just that there's nothing. And that's the part that I think no one's going to want to accept either. And I don't think Bongino or Patel.
I don't know. I don't think I can buy that, because there's been too much posturing. There's been too much. This is the look at the thing we got here. We think it just doesn't feel right. I get where you're coming from. Am I just playing into it because I won't?
Dude, exactly. He's like, nobody will accept it. Logan's like, yeah, I won't accept it.
I don't believe it.
Instantly, didn't even miss a beat. There was not a hesitation.
Okay.
Like, nope,
if that is the case, if that is the case, though, why did you use it as your campaign promise? Why did you sit there and posture about it? Was it really? Are you that feckless of a politician? I mean, that to me is enough to disqualify you from your point of office, if you're willing to lie to get it to the point that you're talking about this pedophile ring you went to uncover, just to be like, oh, actually there was nothing in the file. Maybe you can make an argument they had no idea there was nothing in the file, but they're talking about the files on their desk. Bondi said she had it. Bondi talked all this big game. Kash Patel talked all this big game. Like I just don't. I just can't buy that. And if that is the case, then it's time for don't fuck with cats. The internet would have solved this case. You got to release the files, man.
There's one thing I'll say too. While Bondi was out there saying that, like, oh, I've got it on the desk, we're going to release it, Kash and Bongino were kind of signaling the opposite. And I think that they were just kind of pissed that she was saying all this stuff, because I think there's nothing there. And I think that's like one of the reasons too that they've recently they gave Ghislaine Maxwell like some sort of a new deal, apparently, where she's gets some limited immunity in exchange for testimony. I think they're actually trying to build files. Like they're trying to get them, because there's just not much there. But I will say something too, of the stuff that they've released that's like redacted. There's a lot of stuff that I would be curious to see. And like you're saying, Logan, the whole, don't fuck with cats thing. If they did unredact that stuff and release it to the internet, I think we would actually have some like final answers about this stuff, because there's certain people like Les Wexner and others who maybe he's totally innocent, but we don't have much information about like how many times he went to the island, or if he went, what was going on. We don't know. And the same thing with Alan Dershowitz. And Dershowitz is one of those guys who was like really defensive, but like he was named in Giuffre's case. And
yeah, didn't he countersue her?
Yeah, he did. He did. And you know, he might have been the dude who like remote control drove her car into the bus before she died. You know, it's possible. But there's a lot of people out there who I think we would have much more solid answers about if the stuff that we did have was fully unredacted and the internet got to just like, you know, have at it. You know, we could connect flight logs, we could connect public appearances, we could connect like just their appearance in places against witness testimony and figure out if they were actually present on specific days when things were said to be happening. And that's something I also don't think the FBI did the groundwork for. Maybe they did, I don't know, but I'm very black-pilled on this. And I think when Trump was campaigning, he's an optimistic guy. I think he had an optimistic view about government and believed in our institutions in a way that I just don't. And I think even a lot of conspiracy theory people believe in our institutions in ways that I don't as well.
That is a black pill.
You guys just don't understand how much time we're consumed here in the FBI. We can't just go chase every loose end. You have no idea how much we have to coordinate with other intelligence agencies and other organizations like the TSA, for example, to like set up fake shoe bombers that we can arrest and pat ourselves on the back later this year.
There's incels to convert into terrorists.
We've got to pretend to assassinate the governor of Michigan, guys.
A significant
actual police work.
Yeah, they're not all Christian Michael Chandler out there. You got to talk to some of these autists for a long time to get them to shoot a school up, you know.
We've got to convince 7 IQ people to buy a bomb from us for free.
Talk to a Muslim guy that came to this country and offer him all of the plans, even though he had an IQ of 16 and couldn't put this together himself. Like, let's handhold these guys on the way to being terrorists.
Absolutely, for real, man. But I still want to believe that there's probably some useful people in the FBI. My personal experience, I've just never seen it. And when it comes to these high profile cases, they're more letdowns than anything else. But maybe that can change. Maybe it's possible in the future. But I think people aren't going to want to accept it because they want to believe in our institutions. And I think Trump believes
that it's a reasonable stance, though, to hold that. Why not, if you're Donald Trump, after you do get to dig into it and you find out that, hey, it really was a Obama and a Biden conspiracy theory, that they made all this shit up and that there was nothing to look into, or we didn't have the files, at least. Maybe let's take that in the most generous way to say that he was saying that the files themselves, the talk about this list, was what was blown up and that the FBI didn't do its job. Why would the obvious pivot not be for Donald Trump to go, yeah, of course the FBI wasn't doing their job. It was the Biden administration. I'm in town now. The big boy pants are back on. I'm here to fix all this shit. And the reason we didn't catch this pedophile is because the groundwork just wasn't done by the Biden administration FBI. And it's time for a house clean. It's time to drain that swamp, guys. Wouldn't that be the obvious pivot?
Maybe, but it's also like a big passing of the buck. You know, regardless of what happened in previous administrations, you are in charge now. And just blaming your lack of being able to deliver on a previous administration, I think it's unfathomable. And if I had to put myself in Trump's shoes and pretend I was him and pretend I had his countenance, I don't think I would be willing or able to do that. And I think that's why they're interviewing Maxwell and trying to build something, at least to get some new names or some new anything out of it, just so they can say, look, we've got something and we're going to keep working. I think that's the only thing that like emotionally he can do. Because otherwise you're just waving the white flag and like, yeah, sorry, we can't solve it even now, which I think is just a bad look.
That's fair. That is a bad look, I suppose. But I feel like knowing Donald Trump and knowing the way, like, it really rang false to me when you were like the embarrassment of passing the buck on to the other administration. Because when has that ever stopped any politician from saying it's the other guy's fault? Like, we've watched that while their economy's shitting the bed, they'll blame the other guy. And when the economy goes up under the next guy, they'll claim this because of all the shit they did the last administration. Like, I don't think that's ever held back any politician from just absolutely trying to pass the buck on to the next guy, or blame everything on the opposite. I don't know that would hold him back. And Trump himself doesn't seem like one of these Machiavellian guys who holds everything close to his chest. He seems to say what he thinks out loud all the goddamn time. So I don't know. I just don't know that I buy that one. As funny as my timing was earlier to say I didn't buy it, I don't know that I buy into that one.
and it's totally fair. But I think there's also another angle too, because obviously Trump has been named as one of Jeffrey Epstein's contacts. He wrote him a birthday note. He's flown on the jet once from Palm Beach to New York that we know of. With the rest of the flight logs redacted so far, we don't know if there was multiple times or not. I think
this flight attendant's very young.
Too young, they'd say. But I don't think that saying that, like, oh yeah, sorry, the other administration botched it, we don't have anything, would alleviate suspicion from him either. And I think that's something he's probably fairly concerned about.
That's a fair
if
point.
He is innocent and never went. Like, I think it would just be another bad look for him. But we'll have to see, because it's also kind of interesting looking at how often Epstein had people on his plane. And I understand if you have a PJ, like a private jet, you probably want to show it off. You probably want to get your fuel economy out of it. You want to fill the plane up a little bit. And some of this makes sense. Like him and Jess Staley, who was the head of Morgan Stanley, I believe, but it might have been a different bank at the time. Jess Staley had a private jet, and Epstein had a private jet. And apparently they would share routes all the time. So, they'd switch off, like, oh, we'll take your jet this time, take my jet the next time, which is another interesting thing that pops up, because Jess Staley is another island visitor who went several times and emailed some very weird stuff. But when it comes to the flight log question, if you try and figure out how many times Staley was on Epstein's flight, it's impossible to know, because the public information is really only about whenever they shared a manifest. It's not about when they were on the Lolita Express per se. So, I mean, there's a lot of good information that I would like to know. And I forgot what my point was. I started this saying something else and it just dropped.
Was Lolita not as well known a term in 97 when he bought this plane? It's a wild thing to name your chariot a pedophile island,
I saw the term on 4chan in 2007 quite a lot, but I don't know how well known it was in certain circles.
I think it's a weird implication about yourself that you were willing to admit how early you knew what that meant, but all right.
I was corrupted, man. Someone told me to go on 4chan because they had an automotive board, and they're like, you'd like it. They has cars on it. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is great. Cars.
And that was the Trojan horse that got me into the rest of that website.
Hey, this isn't an innocent website. What's going on here?
There are no cars.
How do you guys
here.
feel? I've thought it was like the argument that the Democrats would have released it if Trump's name was in the files. So that's why Trump's not a pedophile. And I really thought that would go away kind of quickly when Trump just decided to sit on this list here. Because I personally feel a very strong conviction to assume the worst about any politician in this moment. Of anyone that is I don't know if they were really. I know they flew on his plane a couple times, but I don't really think Trump was into young ladies. I don't know. You got to give me a hell of a lot more than you've given me so far for me to start assuming towards the direction that you're not a pedophile in the face of this allegation. I need to see something much more substantial in order for me to assume the best out of you when this is the thing that's against the wall here, I guess. And I found a lot of interesting coping on the right of still trying to justify why Trump is absolutely innocent in this moment and that everything Trump's doing is still the best thing that could possibly happen. Where do you guys land on that one? Are y'all in the camp of the Democrats would have actually released this if Trump's name was prominent in this file, or I guess Kiefer obviously doesn't feel that way because you don't think they were keeping any records at all.
I think that if they had something, they would have released it. Because Democrats eat their own, they don't have the solidarity that a lot of people think that they do. So I think that if they could, if you could bury Trump and you had to give up Bill Clinton in the process, I think Democrats would have gladly made that trade. And so something tells me that if they had it, they would have released it. I just have a hard time with them bearing that to save one of their own, especially some like a former president. Like, who cares? You know,
hey guys, y'all need to calm down. I'm supposed to be the first gentleman over here.
I do have a hard time seeing that there being something, and also I guess I don't have as hard line as a stance as you do on this one. Like, at a certain point, you know, social circles, when you start having a bunch of money, it gets really small. And I don't know if it's necessarily like an indictment that you knew somebody once upon a time. I think that after you know what's going on and then you continue to hang out with them, that's where it gets really suspicious. I also will say on that point, did you guys hear why Trump's latest his deflection of why he broke ties with Jeffrey Epstein? He said this in Scotland. Was it yesterday or today? And he goes, yeah. So he said that I cut ties with him because he was stealing help, and I told him not to do that. And
what help was he stealing, Donald? Specify that it was a janitor, dude.
I mean,
I want to know some interesting information. Virginia Giuffre was supposedly working at Mar-a-Lago, and she was one of the people that Epstein poached.
Oh, okay. Well, to counter like literally everything I was just about to say, maybe he did know. I mean, but he's like Donald Trump's made creepy comments.
I mean, there's a Donald Trump quote out there. Speaking of creepy comments, where he's talking about Epstein, and he goes,
"Well, that's what I was going to say.
Epstein, like
he likes him young.
He likes his women almost as much as I do, and he likes them young. It feels like he knew something
for sure. Mm-hmm. But also, you can't come out. But here's the thing: is like you can't come out and say, well, I cut ties with him because I knew that he was trafficking women back in the day and he was running this pedophile sex ring. You can't say that because then everyone's like, well, why didn't you report it? And all of a sudden now you're implicated in a bunch of ways. So if you come up with that, well, I was stealing the help, or he was stealing the help, then, but also it's like, why would you say? I'm sure the Trump's PR team is like, bro, can you please shut the ever living fuck up? Like, stop answering questions.
Shut his mouth.
Defer to the, like, your answer is when asked, will you pardon Maxwell? Your answer is an unequivocal no. Do not say I have the power.
The only other acceptable answer is, have you guys seen this spaceship coming into our orbit? It's wild. They're almost here. The aliens.
Holy shit. Dude, what are we going to do if Jeffrey Epstein gets off that alien craft?
We were testing you.
Dude, what are we going to do when he lands?
We can't believe you haven't even begun to investigate yet, you fucking monkeys.
So we're not worthy of life.
Your moral fiber deemed your species irrelevant.
We're going to take your water and eradicate you guys.
This is a pretty simple test. Fucking stupid hairless monkeys. How could you not all immediately turn on this pedophile, you pieces of garbage?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, no, you're right. This is a simple test.
It is, and it is crazy.
And to me, again, with Trump, like having kind of had these little brush ups and these little implications, and like that's another step in like I can't buy that Trump's innocent of this, or at least I'm not going to bat for his innocence, because it seems like you knew he was hanging out with young chicks and you didn't find it objectionable enough to go say something to the FBI, or you did find it objectionable enough and the intelligence community shut you down in 1997. You know, one way or the other, it's like, this doesn't feel like anything but intelligence to me. Every answer seems to be pointing the same way, in my opinion, even down to what Kiefer said of like, well, what if they just weren't picking up the information? Yeah, it seems like something the intelligence agencies would tell you to do. Seems like something the CIA would have a conversation with the FBI and the DOJ about maybe we shouldn't gather all this information. Let's redact all these records, sweep it under the rug. And by the time that this all goes through the courts and they finally release it in 50 years, all these people will be fucking dead anyway and they won't catch us.
That actually sounds like something I expect they would say. But I will say this, and I don't mean this to sound like a potential excuse, but it's certainly.
I'm starting to think you're on that island, Kiefer. Just cover up you're running.
He is. Hold up, bro. Look at his background. No, but it's like he's not running those circles. There's no way. There's no way.
Look at these beige walls.
Fair point.
But it does sound like excuse making, but I think there might be a point as well where you might feel a little like, I'm not even sure if I can say anything to anyone in power about this guy. Will it make a difference? Will it matter? And I don't know if that's something he would have said, but it's certainly something when you get to the point where your circles are that small, where you're working with someone who charges a $25,000 retainer per client and is personally managing the wealth of several billionaires at once, and is tied in with the major political party that runs both of the states that you lived in at the time. Now, Florida isn't like a Democrat stronghold anymore, but, it's certainly something you would consider. And also I'll say this too about like the people that are connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Just of the names that have been released so far, a good chunk of them do seem to be fairly innocent. You got names like David Copperfield. He performed magic at Epstein's place in New York once. He's named
18.
One of the but was he actually a participant? Who knows? Chris Tucker apparently and Kevin Spacey both took a flight with Jeffrey Epstein once. Were they really doing anything?
Out. That guy's creepy.
An absolute testimony to Chris Tucker's charisma is how many times I've heard people say, like, I heard it was actually a different Chris Tucker. And I don't think I've ever seen anything that would like make that seem like it should be the case, or that would make any more sense than it is the actor Chris Tucker. What? I think it's just the sentiment of people that are like, Rush Hour was really good, guys. I mean, come on. It was
we're going to hold Rush Hour 3 against him. Yeah.
That is a good point, though, because some of these are just names and they're not actually associated with anyone. So, like, there's one name that I spent some time researching. It was like Bill Kaufman or something. Let me see if I can find it before I like say the name. Stephen Kaufman. I spent a long time researching it.
Yeah, damn.
There's a famous dude named Stephen Kaufman who's tied into the Democratic Party, and I was like, oh, surely this must be the guy. But like the more research I did, I found out like it's not him at all, and it's just the name Stephen Kaufman. So there is a chance that like Chris Tucker is named in there, but it's a different Chris Tucker. There's certainly a good chance. And for like a lot of these names that were named that aren't like, kind of like really one-off names, it makes sense. And that's the tough thing too when it comes to like just releasing this stuff. A lot of people will run with this stuff if they're not like really scrupulous with it and with their research. And who knows what might come of that. Like there's a chance that, several lives could be ruined just because they were part of the social circle, but not like going to the island or going to his house ever, And then there's Bill Gates, who just after the trial, after he's accused of being a pedophile, starts hanging out with him.
that one, like, actually, I'm going to leave you now.
It literally
like, okay, now I'm out.
No sense. It's the one name in there that it's just like really just kind of inexcusable from the sense of socializing. Like if you're just socializing with a guy, you're the one person who definitely started after he was outed as a pedophile. It's
not a great look. That's pretty
not at all
to have somebody like go on the plane with your name. It's just some regular like Chris Tucker's out there somewhere. Like, fucking some cracker motherfucker with my name went on that flight. Ruined Chris Tucker's whole weekend.
And you know what? When was Chris Tucker in jail? Even he might have been in jail.
Chris Tucker
during
went
that
to
time.
jail.
He was in for like tax evasion or something in the 2000s.
Leave him alone.
Honestly, they really should have.
Leave him alone. Boo. That hurts my heart to hear.
Let's see if
they drag him down with enough tax allegations and garner enough wages, we might get Rush Hour 5.
Please no. Please let him go.
I was thinking too when you were talking about Florida no longer being a Democratic stronghold. I wonder if they just got like their whole strategy were immigration-based voting demographics. Like they did well in California up until Trump shut down the border, but maybe they just had the wrong immigrants going to Florida where they had way too many old retired Jews and it's not a sustainable population of voting based.
Absolutely. Also, I looked it up, and it was the real Chris Tucker on Epstein's flight. Apparently, him and Kevin Spacey and Bill Clinton all went to Africa with Epstein, working on HIV, AIDS, or whatever. And that could have been like a totally innocent trip as well.
It
like
could be, but
yeah, I know everything Epstein does has like an interest next to it.
Think of those. That's some 3 like high level charismatic humans there together too. Very different types of charisma, very different styles. But like, man, talk about 3 tremendous talkers right there.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I can't imagine what that like conversation was like over the Atlantic. Just 7 hours together. Bill Clinton, Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey in 2002. Bruh.
Out of control.
That's a room of guys that could talk the pants right off a 16-year-old, if you ask me.
Oh my God, those stewardesses better have been watching out.
Oh my God! Now, and see, this is it's like there's always the image of slavery, right? When people are like, oh, like the Portuguese show up and they trick a bunch of black people onto the boats with bananas and stuff. I actually have this image of like Chris Tucker, Chris Tucker, Bill Clinton, and Kevin Spacey like tricking black kids onto the plane. So that it's like, no.
Hey kid, don't you want to get adopted?
It's certainly possible, and at the risk of defaming Jeffrey Epstein, none of his underage victims that I could see were black. Epstein was probably racist. His worst crime.
Especially in 2025, unacceptable. Unacceptable.
That's one of those weird ones, though. Do you get mad at the racism there, or do you kind of give like a thank goodness he was racist?
Oh, no. The woke mind virus is going to be like, what? So little black kids aren't good enough to diddle?
Unacceptable.
It's
unacceptable.
Like, yeah. It's like, oh, well, just embedded white supremacy and all of these cultural hierarchies. Like, oh, so black kids aren't good enough to traffic into sex slavery and go rape on islands. Oh, yeah, it's very racist of you. It's like, whoa,
no Mexicans or Asians either.
What a
from
hot
what I
take
can tell.
there. It's like, huh?
Just little honky kids.
That's
you think if you trafficked 30 women, there'd at least be one who wasn't white.
Well, hey, people have preferences. I mean, as American Eagle says so eloquently, white people have good genes.
I heard that the woke mob was pretty upset about that one. That ad didn't go over so well.
Yeah,
I think it's really funny that Sydney Sweeney has gone from like when she was on Euphoria, like that was a show that the left widely celebrated and loved everybody from, and when she was like being the sexual object on that show, she was great. And at some point, they just decided that she was bad for being a sexual object. It's like, where's your consistency on the left over there? Are you cool with it or not?
That
like,
was such a stupid statement, Logan.
I keep seeing the exact same picture of Sydney Sweeney with her tits out throughout all the years. I don't know what changed that you guys got upset about it all of a sudden.
There's a few more pictures, actually.
I feel like this is a strong debate amongst men in America right now. Where do you guys put Sydney Sweeney on that like scale to 10? Do you think she's just an absolute knockout, or you find her a little more mild?
She's like a 9.
I'm very suspicious of her smile.
Her used up whore eyes? Oh, her smile.
No, something about her smile, like people with upside down smiles, I have a very hard time trusting. I think it's just a very untrustworthy characteristic.
I understand. Like she could have fish mouth.
And so for that reason, it's like
she kind of has Sid the Sloth.
I'm going to sit here and say that she's not an absolute bombshell. Of course she is. However, there's something just like the upside down smile. I just like she's untrustworthy. It's not that she's not hot because she is, but she's just untrustworthy.
I'll
that's interesting.
Please go for it. No, you go first.
I was gonna say there is something, and I'm drawn more to the eyes, but there is something about her face. I was talking to my wife about that the other day. That like I don't know what it is. I said this is gonna even sound misogynistic, but there's something about her eyes that just like look worn out to me on some level. Like it just It seems like she's missing an innocence in there.
Huh. Shocker. Go on.
I agree with both of y'all in like a very weird way. I don't know what it is about her face, and I assume in person all of this probably disappears. But like, especially in like still pictures, she just looks tired.
You're like, wow, you are pretty, staring straight at her cleavage. I don't even see those imperfections in your eyes anymore.
Like her eyes seem to droop outwards, and her mouth also droops outwards as well, and kind of like the upside down smile. Like,
I'd like to.
It just kind of like it looks like she's tired, like tired of you, tired of the camera, tired of whoever. And I'm sure in person it all disappears, and she looks totally normal. But like her default face in pictures just looks tired, and I don't know what it is. Like I also have a weird face in pictures as well, so like it's not like I'm judging her from a high tower. Shut up.
Yeah, no, like obviously this is a high level celebrity, so she's very attractive.
A bunch of fours being mouthy over here.
That's right.
Yeah, this is here. It is. The fours are mouthy again.
She's not
maybe she's a 6 on a good day. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the class decided because the fours get to run their mouth.
This is one thing that I think women don't understand when we talk about like the 1 to 10 ranking system. Like we all agree she's hot, so there's no point in us talking about that. What's interesting are like the little details that like catch our eye, and that's where the conversation goes, and we all understand that she's a complete bombshell knockout. And so like women will overhear guys talking about women often, and they'll just be like, wow, look at these misogynists. I can't believe this is how they view women. How do they view me? But really it's just like we're attracted to you too. We're gonna talk about the little details.
Fine. Let me get 2 rounds in me and it'll be fine. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of it too, is that like when women rate themselves on that scale, like they created that rule of like you're not allowed to say 7 because their default is like, well, and most people are being modest in that situation. So they really think they're an 8 or a 9 and they're saying 7 to be nice. Versus men, like, I don't know a guy that looks like me that thinks he's an 8. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like a 5 if I'm really feeling myself on a given day. Like on my absolute best, I might be a 5, and I understand that. I know that no woman has gone home with me at the end of the night because of my face. It's always been because I've been charming every single time. That's the only thing that's ever led to a positive correlation with that outcome.
There's one nice thing about being
I think there's trouble with women. Yeah,
like we do get to be out in public, and there's I don't know the best way to describe this, but it's like
having value outside of your physical appearance.
What else is going on with you besides what they see? Whereas like with a woman, like they just look, and what you see is what you get, at least in terms of the way people view people. But like as a man, there's that benefit.
Yeah, their brains are all broken anyway. Just pick a pretty one. I mean, I'll let that get an awkward silence after I made a very clearly satirical, misogynistic joke, everyone.
No.
We took you seriously.
We took you very seriously.
That's what it felt like when y'all just both stopped talking.
Because it was funny. Anyways, how did we get here? We're talking about like pedophile sex rings, and all of a sudden we're.
Oh, we mentioned that Epstein was racist for not trafficking
that's
any woman of color whatsoever.
Well,
the true crime.
If you ask me,
what really makes him a monster in my mind is his racism.
What little black kids are worth diddling, huh? Racist. Woof. What a weird hill.
If y'all would have went to Little St. Jerome's next door, you might have found
But see, that's the problem is you can't
color coded items.
You can't drive the Nissan Altima or the Hellcat to that island. So.
Don't worry, Cadillac makes a boat.
But those are for the good ones, though. Those are for the ones that will live in the nice neighborhood, that talk well.
Well, okay, I do have a question for y'all, and it's going to rely on y'all accepting a premise that you may not accept, and that's fine. We're going to talk in the world of hypotheticals.
Perfect.
So let's pretend there actually is there are no Epstein files, just because FBI never properly investigated the case, and most of the witnesses are gone now. What would you do right now if you had the full power of the government, but there were no files, and you haven't told the public that yet, so they don't know? Like, what would you do?
Well, I'd like to think in and assuming that I haven't been completely corrupted by my power at this point and found ulterior motives along the way. If I'm in power tomorrow, we flip the switch and here's this scenario. I'm pretty down with the full disclosure thing of hey, at the very least, we need to understand that the FBI and the DOJ or whatever, they're either so incompetent that they were never going to be able to investigate this, or they're so corrupted that we're wasting our fucking money on it, one or the other. There needs to be some real reformation. And maybe I'm a little bit more of a burn it down guy like that. That's one of those. So
you double down on the swamp.
Yeah, basically, you turn, like I said earlier, you do the don't mess with cats thing. You go, hey, here's everything I do have, and I'm releasing it to you. Here's everybody's name that's connected. Start doxing the fuck out of people and figure it out. And that's obviously the chaos button. I fully recognize that as I'm saying it. It is, there's going to be some shifty moves that happen right after that. There might be somebody get whacked who, kind of the scenario you were laying out earlier. Somebody took a plane because it would just happen to be sitting at an airport somewhere, and his private jet had the 6 months off when he was just hanging out on the island. So they decided to pick up a flight, and that guy gets somebody kicking his front door in. But I don't know. This is too much. How do you put the genie back in the bottle? How do you ever regain trust in your system? And maybe the answer to that is, hey, it doesn't happen in a generation, but these oligarchical CIA controlled tentacles go pretty deep. We just let all these people die out that are asking all these questions, and we'll get that trust back eventually. They'll get dumb again. But yeah, I think I'm a real flip it to the internet kind of guy, is where my heart wants me to say.
It's a super interesting strategy that is actually the very first time I've heard that out of all of the talking heads. Nobody's ever been double down on the swamp. Because you get the approaches of Lenny Davis, who's all about tell it all, tell it early, tell it yourself. Who, you're supposed to if he was going to counsel Donald Trump, he'd be like, yes, I was on the plane. Yes, I knew Jeffrey Epstein. We associated once, but in spirit of transparency, because I have nothing to hide, and I lied about it because of X reason. Here's what I have. But that's actually a really interesting red meat tossed to the base, is that you just double down on the swamp. Is that, well, the reason that there are no Epstein files is because these corrupt institutions are way more corrupt and way more inefficient than we ever thought. So that's why I'm here as your president, and this is what we're going to. That's actually a really interesting take. I would not have come up with that one if I was advising Donald Trump. That would not be on the radar. It's like, dude, just double down in the swamp.
I wouldn't suspect that I would come up with that if I was advising Donald Trump either. That's not the exercise. This is if I am the guy. I'm not on a list anywhere.
That's fair.
I'm not worried about the implications of it. And I guess maybe to be fair, if
totally fair.
If he truly is to be absolved of all of these, and all you got to do is dig deep enough, then he should do this. He should. Why not turn around and double down on it and go, hey, if they weren't so fucking incompetent, you guys wouldn't have voted me in the first place. And I'm telling you right now, it went deeper than I thought. It went deeper than any of us would have imagined. And we don't even have currently the foothold to start investigating this thing.
Yeah, we have to. That's, I guess my answer to that would be if I was in this position, I'd just shut the fuck up. I'd be like, I would send all questions.
You can direct about aliens.
It's just, I would just answer very simple. It's like the White House, we're not commenting on that. We'll refer you to the DOJ. And then I would tell whoever is running the DOJ is you shut the fuck up as well. And you say that we don't comment on cases that, you know what I mean? It's and I would just stonewall it. That's what I would do, because it's easier to just shut up, and because people forget. And I feel like the reason that this is drug on is because of these little carrots that keep coming out. There are no Epstein files. If Pam Bondi said we have no comment, do you think that they would I feel like the story would be so much different and the timeline would be so different, because the difference of there are no files versus no comment at this moment are radically different. And it's not to say that we're never going to answer it, but that's what I would do.
This is like when you're stringing on a girl and you say like, I'm just not ready to date right now.
Yeah, I'd love to get married someday.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, just keep stringing them along.
Yeah, and that's what
there is something.
I was in that position, that's what I would do.
Your roster.
Dude, because it's like, I mean, the American attention span is so short. And if you said like, if you said no Epstein files, it would be such a rad. Do you know how many different news stories would have come up and taken over? Like, we would still be in the 24-hour cycle of rage. I can't believe this happened. Where is going to be the investigation and follow up to this the next day? I can't believe this happened. I think that if they had just, like Donald Trump says, I referred to the DOJ, and the DOJ said, we're not coming at this time, I really feel like this story just would have vanished.
That would have been smarter. That's another weird one. Why did they come out and say there's nothing? Why would they even? Maybe that's a point to Kiefer's perspective of like, maybe there really isn't anything. Maybe that's why. It's because they're like, that's their attempt
at transparency.
We got to start getting out of here.
I think Bondi goofed up and accidentally sold the truth or told the truth when really not supposed to.
There's nothing.
She should have been stringing people along, and instead she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to date you," and dropped the bombshell. And now no one's gonna help her move.
She told that guy she didn't want to date him, and now he's back at school with his hair all greasy and a trench coat. Yeah, there is and it doesn't even take like a loss of interest. Like, even if everybody's sold into this, I think that's an interesting idea that you wait long enough when you have these intelligent, like, how many people didn't buy the JFK thing in the moment? And it only becomes less people over time. Like, maybe now Joe Rogan got into it and there's been a resurgence of conspiracy theories around JFK. But for the most part, if 25% of people didn't believe it was a lone gunman when it happened, then in 10 years, some percentage of those guys die and every other person gets the official narrative, you know? Maybe some of those people get online and get into conspiracy theories and decide that they don't believe it, but the vast majority of people, you get to feed them your propaganda in the next generation. So the likelihood of them holding on to this past a generation is pretty thin on at least a significant level. I mean, how many people were it's probably the majority, I would say, don't believe Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, right? At the very least, let's just go with that one. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Most of us believe that. But when the three of us are dead, and our grandkids are having this conversation, like, the narrative they got, unless we continue to have this conversation with our grandkids, is going to be, well, no, the government, it was weird. Everybody went crazy about that, but the government said he killed himself.
I think I'm like, all right, Grandpa, here's your Alzheimer's medicine.
I disagree. I think that the internet has kind of frozen culture in a lot of different ways. To the point where things become, I guess, stuck. Like, there's this phrase of stuck culture where, like, you go to a hotel and you turn on TNT or whatever, and some version of Fast and Furious is playing on the TV forever. They don't ever put new movies on anymore.
Well, they did make 18 of those movies, to be fair.
Yeah, true, but it's always Too Fast, Too Furious, or The Fast and Furious, the fourth one. It's always
maybe, if you're lucky, Tokyo Drift.
No, they never play Tokyo Drift, man. I want them to. It's my favorite. But like, this concept of stuck culture essentially is that the internet has made it so that culture of the past is more ubiquitous than culture of the present, just because like culture has fragmented so much. And I similarly think that like conspiracies of the present will end up being part of this stuck culture, just because like they were around when the internet was like still kind of like getting on its feet. And so that stuff is just going to end up becoming ubiquitous, like internet talking points. Like, there will probably become slang about getting Epsteined that stays with people forever. To the point where I think even people who like weren't around for the original trial 40 years from now are going to know that being Epsteined means getting suicided. And so you ask them like, oh, do you think Epstein killed himself? They're like, no, who's Epstein?
No, it's
I think that's going to solidify. But one thing too that I do want to bring up, just out of curiosity to hear what y'all have to think, because actually it supports, Logan, your own conclusion about him being an intelligence asset. There was one of Epstein's co-conspirators who was accused of running a modeling agency that was funneling girls to Epstein, also died in jail of a suicide before he could
what was that guy's name?
Jean-Luc Brunel. He was in France. He flew on Epstein's jet at least 24 times that we know of. He visited the island several times. A witness testimony claims that he was supplying girls to Epstein through his modeling agency, who were all underage. And he also conveniently died before he could really tell us anything. And because he died in France, the trial just kind of dropped, and they didn't bother like following up on the investigation because, well, Monsi, he's dead, no? Like, why bother? And if there was more information to be learned from him, I think it was also very conveniently lost. And obviously, if you're accused of, running an international pedophile ring to that level, I imagine your life is over to the point where you would consider suicide in jail, but it still is quite coincidental. And now I don't have too many informations about the manner of his death. Otherwise, I'd bring them up. But I'm curious what y'all think if this supports the idea that these were all just kind of global intelligence assets, and it's the Five Eyes network working together to entrap and blackmail influential people, or if it's just total coincidence.
What was that guy's name again?
Jean-Luc Brunel, and it's hyphenated.
There it is.
And actually, let me see if I can find the manner of his death.
Yeah, that's what I was really curious about.
He committed suicide in the shower by beating himself to death with a sock full of soaps.
Of course, as you do.
He bludgeoned himself to death in the bathroom.
Interestingly enough, though, he does deny wrongdoing and said he'd been blamed and railroaded by the system and the media.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
How can you arrest me for sexual assault? This is France. What has this country come to? We have let too many foreigners in and changed the culture of my country.
I mean, I know that we were laughing earlier about them going to Africa, but that's where he was arrested in Charles de Gaulle Airport about to board a flight to Senegal.
Oh, no.
How can you call me racist? Couldn't have raped little black kids.
Jeffrey called it a Foreign Legion program.
After allegedly hanging himself. I don't know I'm gonna do a little dive in this prison.
Yeah, I'm just finding stories mentioning he was found in his cell. Maybe his didn't get the same level of attention ours did, where the coroner is being interviewed on TV.
It does say it's one of the most famous prisons in France. It's maximum security, but it's also got a VIP section.
Where they get like 3 thread count bed sheets. Huh.
the 3 threads, so luxurious.
It's enough to hang yourself with.
So France.
Actually, yeah, I forget about this. This is a European prison, so like the VIP section is actually probably like really nice.
It's probably like really, really nice.
Yeah. They probably have like butlers, caviar, champagne.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just adds.
American swine would learn to treat your prisoners better if you had a homogenized society.
Yeah, you know what I will say? It's like I feel like we would if American blacks produced a winning soccer team, we would probably treat them better. But that's probably why France is willing to just like sweep this under the rug.
I think it's a bad argument because I was about to say France cares about soccer. Is it not enough that they've won every other sport for us, Matthew?
No,
yeah,
you don't like winning the Olympics every single time. Is that not
right? Matt's over here like, why isn't there a good MLS team?
No, I win a World Cup. I win a World Cup because
if you would give back to the community a little bit and put a couple nets up in every slum in America in Next Generation, we'd probably win that gold.
Yeah, that's fair. Instead
of go take down all those hoops, Baltimore, take out every single basketball hoop and put up a soccer goal.
That's what's
up.
We'll
be champions of the world in 4 years.
No, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm very happy that we win the Olympics on the backs of American Negro sweat every 4 years.
Of American slave trade.
I'm down with that, and that's what's up. Like the spoils of our victory. It's like that's very American. However, I'm just a little upset. I don't even know where the saltiness comes from. That out of all of the amazing athletes that we produce, you're telling me that we can't produce a decent soccer team? Like, it really bugs me.
There's a really good woke article to be pursed out from this with something about buck breaking to us calling soccer gay. And like the way we've turned off the African American man to being super homophobic himself because of the way they were treated during slavery to having an adverse reaction to soccer because we've associated with homosexual Europeans.
Maybe the issue is just like how little we go barefoot in like a lot of places. So like if you try to think about like what is the poor sport to play, soccer is the poor sport in a lot of countries because all you need is a ball and a net. But here you need cleats, you need shin guards, you need socks, and no one's ever going to play the game barefoot, so they just don't. So if you're going to like choose a sport to get yourself out of poverty, basketball is probably the cheapest one. You already have shoes anyways.
In America, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So all you have to do is buy the ball.
The blacks in America, for sure, they have shoes at least.
Absolutely.
If we take away their shoes, we'll get a good soccer team, dude. That's all I'm saying.
I have a new Senate campaign. It's whatever
this for the MLS, huh?
Dude, whatever federal program is giving poor inner city black kids shoes, cut it, defund it, criminalize it. Like,
we gotta raise the price. I
feel like there's a way to make them good at soccer without stealing their shoes for some reason. That's the only way to figure this problem out. But
is there, Logan? Dude, we've got World Cup coming up in a year, and here's the thing: is like if we
already lost
galvanize, no, I'm not saying that we have to win World Cup, but if America doesn't have a good showing, we lose the best opportunity to get a young generation of Americans interested in the sport, and we're forever going to be banished to like barely making it out of group stage, and it bugs me because this is America.
The inverse of the argument. Every time you shit on me for being excited about Texas Tech football. And then you turn around and make the exact same arguments I make about U.S. soccer. Like, this is the year. This is our opportunity. If we can just have a good showing. And you just can't believe that I'm into Texas Tech football so much.
All right, well,
and the truth is, at least Texas Tech football has a billionaire backing us now. And we actually do have a shot.
Which one is gayer, the MLS or Texas Tech University?
Hold on. I'm not talking about the MLS. I'm going to fuck about the MLS.
Where do you think our soccer players are going to come from?
It only gets gear if you add.
Well, no, they're gonna go play in Europe like any respectable good soccer player does. Okay.
Nope. Gone. Done. If we can't have roaring stadiums right here, our blacks are never going to play soccer.
Our blacks are not. You're actually right, though.
Damn.
Like, that's a little simplified and sounds racist, but until you can idolize the athletes, it's not happening. So until the MLS is good, we're not going to be good at soccer.
Yeah, you got to go to Europe, play in the B League. Like, cool, they'll do it. They're never going to join the American national team. They'll do like whatever. I don't know those guys.
Damn. How about I play basketball and get my dick sucked my junior year of high school?
Yeah, yeah. If we're being honest.
Well, now that I've laid out this argument out loud, I realize how wrong I am.
I would say that all of the best soccer talent is like in the NFL as backup wide receivers.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, slot receivers.
Yeah, it's the right body shape, right body size, right height.
I've honestly thought a lot of cornerbacks as well, especially nickel backs. Those guys, again, see, the exact opposite of the guy the guy that guards the guy you're talking about, basically.
Yeah, the entire secondary in the wide receiver core. If we think about all the people who are in like developmental leagues, D leagues, the Canadian leagues, like we have raped and pillaged all of our soccer talent.
And imagine a Kevin Durant at goaltender. Pterodactyl arming it.
Dude, never gonna score.
It could work.
Never gonna score. Imagine like a LeBron James, a Westbrook up front.
Imagine any one of our tight ends.
I did always think Russell Westbrook would have been a freak soccer striker, like 6'6", and he's the fastest guy on the field, and he jumps out 3 feet higher than everybody else. Like, what do you do? to a guy who has that skill set.
It's like
Cristiano. His athletic profile is Cristiano Ronaldo, but bigger, faster, and stronger in every way.
You don't want to be too tall when you're playing soccer, though. Like, it's great for headers, but like if your center of gravity is too high, suddenly you can't change direction. You're falling over every slide tackle.
Because Russell Westbrook definitely has a problem with controlling his body.
Balance, contact balance.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
that's definitely a problem that dude has.
I think you also what you do with Russell Westbrook is you just let him start sprinting, though, and you just kick the ball up in the middle of the goal box, and he just outruns everybody to it. And if he doesn't outrun him, he just is bigger, stronger, and jumps higher. So he just pushes you out of the way.
It's certainly a play. And I don't watch soccer enough to know if like people are doing.
To be
that.
fair, this is the perspective of a white boy from Texas who didn't play soccer, so I could be definitely completely wrong about all of this.
Watch it, man.
I know dick all about how it works.
Like, I'll go to a soccer game every now and then just to be like, whoa, it's better than football in person. I'll tell you that. Like, football's boring as hell. It's probably the worst sport in person to watch.
I don't like this take at all.
Oh, dude, no, it is. If you've ever tried watching a football game in person sober, you're gonna hate it.
Oh, you're watching them wrong then. I didn't realize you were watching them incorrectly.
I'm just saying, like, you can watch a soccer game sober and it's fun. You'll have a blast the whole time. Football, it's like, why are they stopping?
I think you actually have to watch soccer games sober so that you can consent to the gay sex afterwards.
He's had 2 beers, throw him out.
You're definitely right. Logan. Because I'm sorry, I got us on this. So we're talking about France and an arrest, and then I got us onto soccer. So this is my fault, and I eat
totally your fault.
I'll take that one. I will say that back to what we're talking about. It is a little odd that Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator also died in jail via hanging. I don't know. I guess it's part of me. I'm between the pills, and they're not good because the best, like the good outcome as you've outlaid is, and I don't know which one is which, but between the two, it's either that there is a global pedophile trafficking ring and all of high-level people are implicated, or every institution that we have is completely inept and there will never be any justice. But either way, it will continue. And I don't know I don't know what the good pill is in that. I don't know which is the good take. what's the white pill in that?
The white pill? That's a tough one.
Y'all remember this? I had totally forgotten about this meatball right here that they had put in the cell with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, dude, his face looks really familiar.
What was his name again? I forgot.
He looks like a buff Kevin
warning everyone that Epstein was suicidal.
No, he was the one that they put him in the cell with Jeffrey Epstein, even though he was supposed to be this priority high level. And this guy's been put away for being a corrupt cop who was drug trafficking and murdered other police officers, I believe. So, I think he ate him after that too, which is why he got so big like that.
Seems like a great cellmate.
I feel like Epstein would figure out how to get along with him.
Well, you say that, but I do believe that I think there was an incident I'd kind of forgotten about too until I was looking through all this again, where before Epstein was put on suicide watch and ultimately hung himself, he was like called for help to a guard and they found bruises on his neck while he was roommates with this guy. So it's like he kind of almost got strangled to death once anyway with this dude in the cell with him, I feel like. And that kind of got hushed a little bit before he ultimately killed himself.
Didn't this guy say something too? I vaguely remember him either like warning about something or him claiming something had happened. I don't know. And I might be making this up. I could have a false memory.
He definitely seems like he wouldn't turn off the body cam as he's rolling into the traffic stop. This seems like a good, upright, that looks like a great cop. I want him responding to me in my scene. I want him for my routine traffic stop because that doesn't seem like somebody that's not going to like have roid rage.
Yes, I'm saying. Isn't that one of the side effects of eating steroids every day for breakfast? Is that you become incredibly honest?
That is something they say actually. Hypertestosterone. But interestingly enough, I think I'd be cool with having him pull me over in like a traffic stop. I think I would look so small to him that he wouldn't even think about it. He'd just be like, "Yeah, here's your piece of paper. Get out of here." I don't even register on his threat.
Boy. I was looking for one of them strong Negroes to good back. You don't look like one of those.
I didn't find a statement by Tartaglione about Jeffrey Epstein, but there's a statement I found from his lawyer that's trying to throw a wet blanket on, like, it's totally false, and anybody who's speculating that he assaulted Jeffrey Epstein's crazy. He was only like removed from the cell because of they were mad at him because of poor conditions that he complained about to a board or something like that. So, so there were definitely people speculating that he assaulted Jeffrey Epstein.
Reasonable. These are all, and it's, you know what? Actually, shame on all of you guys sitting here talking about these. All of this stuff checks out. The linear nature of it all just makes sense. And how dare you question your government or any of their intentions?
Absolutely.
I for one am actually done with this podcast. And I'm done with you guys because all you're doing is just dragging me down with y'all's bullshit.
Fearmongers. That's all we are.
Dude, for sure. Just these unsubstantiated claims that, like, where's y'all's proof for anything that you've said this whole night?
You're
no
right.
documents. Damn.
The coroners have already told us everything we need to know. Jeffrey Epstein kneeled down with exceptional force and broke his neck.
So much that you only break bones that you break when you get strangled. Yeah.
That's something that you or I or anyone else could do on a prison diet.
But you know what? That's a testament to Jeffrey Epstein. That guy he went above and beyond with everything that he did. So when he was going to hang himself, of course it's with enough force that it breaks bones that only break when you're getting strangled and not when
they say Jeffrey Epstein was a man of pure will and vision. And in all of my time investing with him, I have found that he delivers. When everyone says it's impossible, he delivers. So I believe this.
Hey, I can understand why a layman wouldn't understand how somebody could pull this off, but this gentleman did study mathematical physiology in college, so he probably was able to parse out those numbers, figure out how to hang himself with toilet paper from 6 inches of depth and break wounds in his neck. That's probably why he pulled it off.
That's why. For sure.
That's why it worked.
And, actually, I've seen this case many times before, in fact. We had another guy who, believe it or not, just was trafficking all of this coke by himself. It was several pounds worth. It was all for him, his own personal consumption. And he was going to testify, and he just kneeled down again in the police car all by himself and broke his neck. So this kind of thing, it happens a lot. It happens all the time.
Yeah, sometimes when you break your neck from hanging yourself, your eyes go black too. A lot of people don't know that about the human's body, But...
Look, Matt, all of those bodies in the vacants got there by themselves. There's no
Indeed.
Grand conspiracy.
You think that he's stacking bodies in the vacants? Whoa.
And Mayor Carcetti is honestly a great politician who did a lot to save the city of Baltimore, and
Absolutely.
I'm happy he's moving up to governor now.
For sure, the world's a better place. The world is a shit.
I don't know if I showed you guys my favorite Epstein file meme so far, but I love this one so much.
Oh, I remember this one.
Oh, that's great.
That's my favorite meme to come out of all this so far.
God bless the internet. Swallowed it. Is that the same building that they posted that whole thing about Elon and?
I don't know. It's in LA. If that narrows it down any for you, I saw that somewhere.
I don't know,
but I don't know the Elon.
No idea here either.
Shit.
Well, now that we've solved that mystery,
yeah, right. What other interesting things are going on that certainly aren't massive conspiracies? I don't know how long you guys want to go for, but I will say that I wonder that there's always a moment that breaks a country, breaks a nation, breaks a story, breaks a myth. And I wonder if like we're living through the breaking of whatever's going on right now, because like this is the bridge too far. The peasants can, like, if you take like revolutions, the French Revolution, all right, fine, like we'll buy your phony document about the debt being these extra, what do they call them, they like classified like the massive amount of debt that the crown owed in perpetuity as like one-time expenses that shouldn't be counted, so therefore like the regime isn't great, the financial standing of the empire is great, don't worry about anything. And all of a sudden when it comes, it's like, oh shit, we're actually broke. And that document, I just wonder, is this the thing that erodes trust in institutions so much for the average person that there's no going back? I've been on this, and this is a black pill of mine for a while, but I'm a firm believer that like we're just slow walking in the revolution. It's coming. You can't escape it. We've hit all the metrics, the debt to GDP, all of the metrics that makes every major empire collapse. Like we're there. We've hit them, and so now we're just slow walking through the collapse. But at least we have Wi-Fi and memes. But there will be a breaking point.
What was the term you used earlier, Kiefer, for like the freezing of time of the internet?
Oh, stuck culture.
Stuck culture. That's to like go against my own argument earlier of like letting things die down. Like you might be right. I mean, that's kind of the argument I've been making in a sense when I talk about how we've got more information and more contact and intercommunication with the internet and ability to share and cameras out there, that it's just getting impossible to continue to carry on this incompetency on this grand level without us kind of noticing it. Maybe it is. Maybe that's maybe the internet in general is like allowed us to lock this in, and there's just not going to be a walking back of trust in government, or at least not this amalgamation of government without major reforms, because we've all just seen too much. How do you pretend you didn't see any of this at this point?
There are no Epstein files in Bossing say.
And credit to the generations that have followed after us as well. Like their access to the internet has allowed them to speed run a lot of the like red pills that it took us, years to get around to ourselves. Just because there's already like a YouTube montage about whatever conspiracy they want to get into, and YouTube will recommend them the very next one to watch. So, in 5 or 6 months, you can get to like, I don't know, like a red pill grandmaster very quickly. And I think Epstein and the child pedophile rings and Pizzagate and James Alefantis and all of these people are names that a lot of Zoomers know, where like a lot of millennials are kind of like, who's that? Who's James Alefantis? You can go through all this stuff and they're kind of like, I don't remember that name, or Chiramarilla or whatever that guy was. Like there's a lot of names that don't get remembered by older generations, but younger ones who are just perpetually online have at the tip of their tongue. So I think we're stuck. Epstein is stuck. It will be a cultural touchstone forever because we're never getting those fucking files.
No, we're not. That I unequivocally agree with you on.
I agree with that too.
Of all the things I push back on, I'm not pushing back on that one bit. Never fucking know.
It's fair. And like my whole black pill thesis does ignore a lot of like very pertinent pieces of information, particularly the suicide, like why would he be suicided if there was no files, no nothing, and he wasn't an intelligent asset?
He's innocent.
That's a good point.
He's just a good kneeler.
Dude, just a pious Christian. And one day it's like forgot that, it's like in between.
I'm a practitioner of autoerotic prayers.
I was going to say it's like the autoerotic asphyxiation after he's done.
You have no idea how intense your prayers can be, dude. I'm telling you, your prayers can be so much more fulfilling.
And you just lean a little too hard.
And our bodies to your service.
Oh, there's a term that talked about. It has to do with like the collapse of the Soviet Union. It had to like hyper normalization, I can't remember it, but it was essentially dubbed by a psychologist talking about everybody rolling around the Soviet Union knowing that the thing's going to collapse one day, but they don't know when, so they just continue carrying on as normal. I feel like that's what we're experiencing right now. I mean, there's no way out of it, right? There's no way out of a lot of these things. They're just mathematically unachievable. And so that is my big black pill. And I've been on this one for several years. And I'm not here to preach doom and gloom and rain that it's, fire and brimstone that's coming tomorrow or next year or even in a decade or even in 30, 40 years. And sometimes these things take a very long time to collapse. But I think that we've already passed the threshold for most of this stuff that it's coming one day. And this is just this will only help solidify what is probably inevitable. Because if you can't, it's like if you can't trust your institutions or have some sort of believable story about them, whether or not you actually trust them. But if you can't lie to yourself at night saying like, oh yeah, this is a much better, it's a great trade-off that I'm part of a nation and I give up all of these things to not be a part of a family or a tribe or a community because now I'm part of a nation. And I can definitely count on the institutions that come with this nation to make sure that I'm safe and protected and my well-being, my interests are seen through. That's good. That's a hard sell, and it's only going to be harder for more and more people. And I think that this is going to be a breaking point for them.
Man, I was wondering first of all, if the island was for sale. I just Googled real quick.
Yeah, someone bought it
for $60 million to some guy.
He's definitely not.
I wonder what kind of a great deal did he get after, when you buy a house somebody like killed themselves in, you get a pretty good deal on it most of the time. It was both islands, Little and Greater St. James, were bought for $27.95 million originally by Epstein. So they made a fucking profit on that thing. They tripled its value, even though it was a child rape resort, apparently.
Yeah, and
I also saw hilariously
the islands as well. Oh, so I was just saying, Epstein did a lot of upgrades to the islands as well. Like, it's one thing people don't understand. When he bought it at $8 million, it had like 4 buildings on it and a helipad, and then he built enough buildings for there to be like 70 full-time staff on them. They all have housing. Yeah. Gigantic mountain.
You got all the playgrounds, the water parks, daycare.
That's another question we all have, right? There's 70 full-time staff there, and we only have like statements from like 15 of them. What was the FBI doing? Did they interview the rest of them?
What are you guys doing on this island? Huh?
It started off pretty rough, but once you hit 20, they kind of age you out. And you just become a cook, and you just kind of live on an island, which is, I did see that financier who bought the islands for $60 million plans to turn them into a resort. It's like, well, good news. There's some infrastructure that's already been built up. I think it's already fitted for that exact purpose. It sounds like.
You can get if you buy the VIP package for only the small cost of an extra $10,000 per visitor, you can visit the child sex dungeons in the temple.
Do you think they have like some homage themes in the
they
tourist?
They absolutely will.
Little tourist shop. You can get like a see no evil, 3 little baby dolls.
Dude. Probably a bunch of artwork from
ambulance chasing.
It's what was the Podesta brother that had all of that creepy ass art in his house?
Oh, the spirit cooking thing, or are you talking about a different art?
No, it's that stuff. It's all in the same vein. Which I know there's 2 Podestas. One of them was a chief of staff. The others, I don't know what they did.
And by coincidence, they were both pedophiles.
Yeah, right. Shocker. But it's like I feel like you're gonna have that type of artwork in there, only to solidify, just to drive home the satanic rituals of child adrenochrome harvesting that happened in the bottom of the temple.
Yeah, and it is wild just how creepy all of that art was. Like, I have
super creepy
memories of it being showed to us, and I was like,
Was it
I'm not
John
sure how
or
comfortable I would
Tony?
feel living in a house where this is just on the walls all the time.
You invited like somebody into your home. You have parties in your, it's like if I had that artwork, that's like, we're gonna have to take this down. We have guests coming over tonight, But you had it was an Architectural Digest article that showcased it. Because it was John and Tony, are those the two brothers?
Yeah,
one of them.
I'm looking at one right now,
sure.
and it's like he was interviewed by WashingtonLife.com in 2015 about all of his art, and he's showing them. They have a photo of him in front of his favorite sculpture. It's a little girl naked hanging from the ceiling. And he's like, this is my favorite. It's called Arc of Hysteria. It's like, what is this?
What do you like?
What is this?
A lot of bunny rabbit min ones too, which is odd. Oh, never mind. That's a museum of art. That's not from this house. That's just a different creepy artwork. Yeah,
there's another Podesta artist who has the same last name, but not related.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Giovanni Andrea Podesta. He also makes creepy pedophile art, though, apparently, which is a weird coincidence.
I mean, like, what's up with, like,
it's a common last name in Italy, though. I will say that.
But hold up. So here's something that's not common, though. I will say, it's like, why would you have this in your house? And this is the thing. It's like, who does this? Like, who has this artwork in their house?
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
On the flip side, some of the greatest artwork I've ever seen out of, as much as I hate to give him any credit, the George W. Bush in the Epstein's collection throwing the paper airplanes at the Jenga towers.
Yeah,
and the Bill Clinton in Monica Lewinsky's dress at the Oval Office. Those are pretty nice pieces of art. I'm pretty jealous of those two.
And they make sense for someone who's like a campaign advisor in politics to have art like that. It's a little tongue-in-cheek.
I'm not even saying that's incriminating. I just think those are great pieces of art.
I like them too.
Yeah, those are it's pretty funny. It's pretty meta, but I would like to hear the defense of having a painting of 6 underage girls in the shower tied up with their behinds facing you. It's like, were
they tied up in that picture? I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. It's like, what is your intellectual defense of that? Like, why does that piece of art speak to you? It's it's like I need you to line out in clear.
Well, obviously, it's an analogy for capitalism, Matt. Get your fucking mind out of the gutter.
Absolutely. And the reasonable response to the critique of capitalism is that we're not dealing enough black kids. Cool. Copy. I'm falling full circle.
All we're saying is it should be equal. Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah,
Matthew.
Also notice there's no black girls in that painting. So
that did cross my mind. Interesting. All right.
Well,
is it wrap up time? Because I have one other thing I do want to share with you guys. It's a complete non sequitur, but it is.
I will only say it can be wrap up time if we're going to do Ethno Guesser again.
I mean, not opposed.
I'm always down to play.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say no.
That's all.
While you're queuing that up, let me share my fun
down.
non sequitur here that I found.
Always play Ethno Guesser, dude. Peak racism, baby. We're getting good. I will say we're getting better.
We'll see. The test is coming up.
Oh, we'll see.
People watching don't know that I've been doing my best to train y'all over the last few weeks.
Dude, spare your Chinese proverb. We'll see.
Gauntlet. All right, this is my new favorite gut-filled clip of all time.
When you call criticism doesn't matter to us. When you call us Nazis, Nazi this, Nazi that, I'm beginning to think they don't like us. You know what? I've said this before. We need to learn from the blacks. The way they were able to remove the power from the N-word by using it. So from now on, it's what up, my Nazi? Hey, what up, my Nazi? Hey, what's hanging, my Nazi?
Nazi, please.
Thank God you did a hard eye there.
Oh, she bailed him out, by the way, because the energy of that room got weird until she threw in the Nazi please. She bailed him out so hard. That room was actively turning against him, and she saved his ass. She could have let him stew in that if she wanted
to. I love that for him. I really do.
We just might be on our way. Nature is healing.
Some good things came out of the fall of the Roman Empire for sure.
All right, I'm grabbing one more glass of wine while y'all queue it up.
Oh, whoa. They have a new guesser game on the EthnoGuesser site.
Oh.
I'm actually going to share my screen now before I even queue this up. It's called Doggo Guesser. I have no idea what it means.
Are they dogs?
I would assume so. I don't know.
Because I definitely cannot tell a Slavic dog versus...
Let's just see what the first one looks like. I'm just really curious about this. Official.
Oh my god, it actually is a dog.
Three pictures, and you have to guess which country or region. Holy shit, this is going to be impossible, man.
I'm not down for Doggo Guesser.
You said you're not?
I do not know anything about dogs.
Yeah, neither do I, dude. I'd be awful.
Unless they're the kinds that like sniff out and bark at Jews. I do not. It's like Belgian Malinois, Rottweilers. That's about all I got.
How about we just do one dog and just see what this experience is like?
What is that, a little Benji?
Oh, this actually looks like a Japanese dog to me.
I have no idea. Sure.
I feel like I'm going to be really good at the dog one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As you said, that was a Japanese. That looks really close to a healer. It's got a curly tail, but this looks like very potentially an Australian cattle dog.
Australian cattle dog.
Oh, so we have Japan and Australia, both islands. That's great.
Okay. We could.
I see where you're getting a Shibu thing, but I feel like the only Shibus I know are all the same color, and none of them are that pattern. That is a red healer pattern. That is a red healer ears, red healer head. It looks like it's mixed with something smaller.
Damn, we just unlocked a level of Logan's autism that I didn't even know existed.
I think I know dogs. I think I might be good at this one.
Where should we put it in Australia, Logan?
I don't know. Where do they have sheep in Australia? Which side's the
like
side?
South, like over here.
That'd be my guess.
That's
all right.
Somewhere where they have cattle.
I'll put it like kind of a little western.
Where they have sheep.
And then let's see. Where do I even click the guess? Oh, we have more pictures, by the way.
Oh, more pictures. Okay.
Does this change your opinion? It's standing there like a cattle dog.
Okay, it does. See, that's too small for an Australian cattle dog. Now that I'm looking at the full body picture on the profile.
Okay.
I'm thinking, I don't know, that seems like it's got some terrier in it, which makes me think Europe. That color pattern sure is that first one especially, man. That looks like a cattle dog to me. But they get smaller and taller. Typically, the healers I'm familiar with are kind of thick, but that's also could be the Americanized version. Like, have you guys seen an English lab before? And how crazy
Bro, you're speaking moonspeak to me right now.
You guys don't know dogs like that?
I do
not at all. Well, so Logan, you want to update your guess at all?
Oh, I'm going to refresh my drink while you guys figure this one out because I have nothing to add.
I'm thinking through. This is giving me some terrier vibes of some kind now.
It's standing like a cattle dog, though. You know that whole pose where it's just like really leaned forward?
It does. I mean, and that head still looks like a healer to me. We got a curly tail. Let's stick with Australia. I think this still looks like that first one super looks like a cattle dog to me.
All right, let's lock it in and see what we get. What is this? Okay. That's definitely not an Australian name.
Definitely
we got 0. Oh, geez.
I was Europe. I should have balked.
See,
I knew. I should have gone back on my guess. Dang it.
Okay, so it descends from some dog that's been there since prehistoric time? Okay. All right, good to know. Well, fair enough.
It'd be fun if they get a cat ethno-guesser up, and no matter where you click, it's like it's right. All cats are the same cat.
That'd be a huge black pill for you, man. Well, we'll let Matt see the map, and then we will start the real game of ethno-guesser.
Shame me is fair.
Well, I'm glad that you were just as wrong as I was. Oh, actually, no, I was closer. I had a northern hemisphere dog. You were just.
Yeah, I mean, technically closer, I guess.
Yeah,
you would have got
yeah,
a 0 as well.
I wasn't spiritually closer, I didn't get any of the details right. Because
you get the dog from China, do you think it's just a plate of Kung Pao?
I think they make stew out of dogs, actually.
This is a very, very, very tougher meat.
You gotta water it down, mix it with the veggies.
See, I like this game. This would be a fun one right here. Yeah, that is an interesting little family tree there. Little Scotty.
So I don't know why this is highlighted. Is this where that dog is? Oh, it is. Okay, probably, it's ancient Spitz breed. It's right next to a toy dog. That's kind of funny. So let's see. Is this okay? It's a hunting dog.
Yeah,
large forest grouse. Can hunt like a bird dog though, and elk. Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be too big.
What the fuck's that thing doing helping you hunt elk? What purpose does that dog serve hunting elk?
Maybe it spooks the elk and like gets it to like run in the right direction. I have no idea.
It feels like the opposite of the way you hunt elk. You stalk elk.
Yeah, maybe it just stands next to you and points at the elk with its nose, like it does this. And it's like the elk is over there, brother.
Man, I saw a video of a bird dog the other day somewhere in a downtown, and it had its nose 3 inches away from a pigeon pointing at it. And the pigeon was walking, and the dog was just walking right behind it, just staying 3 inches from it. I got one. I got one right here, boss.
Absolute heaven. It's kind of interesting they put it like super north too. Like the dot is almost not in the country. Like right? If we had clicked northern Finland. Sorry, what?
I guess to be fair, this could also be from like maybe that's the originating spot. But with dogs, it's a lot of like selective breeding and where we've decided to continue. So maybe they're only popular in that country of Norway. I think
okay, true. It did say they were reintroduced somewhere. So let's see. They were extinct for a little while and then rediscovered as pets and watchdogs in North Bothnia. I don't know where North Bothnia is. Let's see.
Bothnia.
All right, North Bothnia. Oh, it's just northern Sweden. Okay. So that's kind of wild. So they just said it was extinct, and then they showed up there, and people just had them as pets all over the place. And they're like, oh, I guess they're not extinct.
Oh, we rediscovered them.
Yeah. It is kind of wild how we do that, too, because now, obviously, like, the whole Western world is on the internet. So, like, we don't rediscover animals in the West. But, like, we go into South America and the jungles, and we're just like, oh, these pygmy, whatever you fucking call them. What are the sea elephants called again? I forget.
I think you're right. I think they're pygmy elephants.
No. There's a word for these, but they found a pygmy version of it that only grows to like 3 feet long, and they always thought that they were babies, and they're like, oh, it's extinct. And then you go on one trip into the Amazon, they're like, oh yeah, there's a whole village of them. They're all over the place. People are eating them. They're a delicacy. It's not extinct. You just haven't talked to us in a long while. But like we're constantly doing that. We're like rediscovering things that other people are just utterly taking for granted.
Rediscovering. We're about to rediscover a bunch of pyramids with all this LiDAR stuff that's coming out.
Oh, I can't wait, dude. I'm looking forward to it. So excited. But Matthew, this is the real answer in case you were curious at all. We were all
Norway, huh? Yeah.
Utterly wrong.
Huh.
All right, let me find my way out of this, and we're going to go to
never would have guessed that.
Go to the actual game, the real game. I'm going to play Dog Ethno Guesser with Maddie. She'll quite enjoy that.
Honestly, y'all probably would. It seems like it's a fun game. All right. So we've got our first faces. Is this big enough for y'all, by the way?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Turning off my ad blocker. Okay, whatever. I don't like how they've changed this now. Like the other one,
that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to like zoom in and out. I'm definitely thinking.
Also, I want to put these people like right here.
I was going to say Eastern Europe for sure. Definitely southern.
I was even thinking Iberian Peninsula potentially.
Oh, Spain.
It's somewhere in that
Mediterranean like side of Spain. If it was going to be Spain, but yeah, it's certainly possible.
I wouldn't be shocked by that. He doesn't look like his knuckles touch the ground, so I don't think he's Italian.
yeah, we can totally skip over Italy, and I genuinely mean that. Unless it was like northern Italy, like this
like
side.
Slovenia. That.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm gonna look really weird on the camera, leaning my face 3 inches from the screen.
But I definitely feel like it's gonna be like.
My guess is like Yugoslavian of some kind.
Okay. Well, some people would hear that and would get very mad. They're like, "What do you mean? You can't tell they're Serbian?"
Well, yeah, no, for sure. They're definitely not. They're definitely not from. They're definitely not. Wherever the Muslim, who the Albanian. Sorry, they're not Albanian. Okay, I know that they're not Muslim.
I'm with you on that. This gives me the kind of typical Georgia, Azerbaijan vibes, except that they're not Muslim-y enough. You got to go more European.
Eyebrows
than
are
that.
Definitely not thick enough for them to be that far east.
You're right. That's right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Kiefer. The Serbia-Romania area feels right to me. They don't look incredibly Slavic, so I think Moldova is too far into Slav land. But I could go Croatia. I could go Slovenia.
Somewhere, it's definitely southern. Or it's in the Balkans of some kind, and I think that Romania would fall into there. Because it's way too dark to be anywhere towards, and probably even like Slovenia and Austria. Like you would start to get a lighter hair complexion.
Yeah,
of blondes that are in there.
No, actually, to be fair on this game, I have really noticed to get blonde with an amalgamation of pictures, you better have a blonde fucking population.
Yep.
Like Germany doesn't show up super blonde on this game. You got to, like, if they're blonde, you better get your ass to Sweden and Finland. So
like with this
I would say that
really could be this whole section right here.
Right. With that said, I do believe I'm with you on there's a little bit of that kind of Greek vibe, and there's a touch of that Slavic, like you gotta slide it towards Russia a little bit, but not a bunch.
Romania. I think you're on with Romania.
Yeah, they just feel super Romanian to me. Romani. But let's
like it. I could agree with
think a bit more about like Spain, particularly, like just in case, if we were to put it here.
I feel like my gauge for Spanish people is not very good, to be honest.
It's because it's been
I'm the one that brought
the Mexicans that that you know.
Why aren't they all brown over here? How come we got the dark ones?
I would almost put them in Aragon if it was going to be me, and I had to pick Spain. I can't tell you why. It just the eyebrows are doing a lot of Spanish for me. It's also why I don't think they're like Georgian or like.
I would say that they're not. Nope, they're on this side of the Black Sea.
But I definitely would want to put them in like, I don't know, this part of Romania if I had to pick.
That's fine.
I like that one a lot.
I'm down with that.
I can.
All right, let's lock it in and see what happens. Oh, okay, we're not bad. Oh, we got a perfect score.
Oh,
we got a perfect score, in fact.
Boom.
That's a vibe. This game. This screen,
they were a little more Slovak than I thought. We could have gone into Ukraine and been okay.
Okay, so apparently, like the actual composite was like right here in southern Romania, but yeah, Ukraine would have been acceptable. Would have been 5,000. Interesting. This side of the Black Sea gets us some points for Georgia as well.
We could have got all the way down to Georgia, Azerbaijan.
Maybe the Turks didn't make it up that far.
All right, let's hop to the next round. We got a perfect score in the first one. Ooh. Ooh, brother, what is that? Ooh, brother.
Where's Cash Patel from?
I feel like
I'm thinking like Persian,
Pakistani. But yeah, Persian is definitely.
Yeah, I could see Iranian. Yeah, I don't feel like we're quite to India. I was being a little.
The nose.
Although the woman looks a little more Indian to me than the man, to be honest.
She's got like, I don't know, the noses.
They would make ideal.
The noses seem like actual Semites.
Yep.
Not.
It is very pointy. It's very pointy nose.
Not this. No. Hold up. Don't take that from them. It's not this weird amalgamation of the Jews that say that they're Semites. Like these are actual Semites.
It's not a Polish nose.
You know what? They almost feel Lebanese to me, especially the woman. Like the woman looks super Lebanese. Like we could even put them like in like this contested area that
it almost looks like the guy's wearing a suit, which wouldn't make sense because he would definitely be in a terrorist outfit.
Where's your onion hat at?
Onion hat.
Oof.
I don't know. What are y'all thinking?
Way too pretty to be Iraqi.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of I want to say Iran, but it feels maybe a little darker complected. I guess if you went to that beach side of Iran, maybe. But I kind of like your argument. I feel like well, I thought it's south. I was just staring at actually I guess doesn't it connect? Does that even connect to Iran?
I mean, they got coastline down here.
Rough.
I think it's pretty rocky though. How much beach there is.
Well, I was saying more just complexion wise, but I do. Yeah, I kind of like what you're saying there. Like Iraq feels like it's got that North Korea thing going on where they're a little malnutritioned, and these guys look like they're doing okay. I don't hate the Lebanon argument.
I have a weird. I don't know. It's not biased, but like every Lebanese woman I see looks the same, and like this is the Lebanese face. It's screaming at me right now, and I feel like
if you're convinced, then you have more conviction than my Persian argument. So I'm down.
All right, I just don't want to make sure I'm like not pushing all away from anything.
I like the Lebanon.
Actually, let me think. It wouldn't be that.
It's something in that reason.
Although, wait a second. Okay, we got Jerusalem up here.
Oh, that's a little too close.
Let me think about where I'd want to put it. Yeah, I'd want to put it like kind of close to Damascus, but like outside the contested zone.
That's say Al Qaeda.
But if we were to think about Persians, like where would we put them if we were putting them in Iran?
I would say probably around the Tehran area.
Okay, just in the
capital.
They
look sophisticated. And I don't know what it is about the dude's shirt, but it seems like there's a lot of suit composites
into
it, which would make unless you're only seeing the shoulders of his Aladdin vest.
See, but if we're getting a lot of suits, it would imply that it'd be more of a Christian area of the Middle East.
Oh, interesting.
Which puts us back in like Lebanon, Jordan again.
Okay. I'm down. That's fine with me, man. Lebanon.
All right, let's see what happens.
Show me the money.
Okay. Oh, another 5,000.
Another 5,000.
Well,
the actual point was like literally right here.
We were right there,
dude.
25 kilometers away.
Feels good.
Well done, sir.
Arabic.
But you're definitely right. The Semitic thing got us over there, dude.
Yep.
Okay, so they're Arabs who have expanded into the West through the Caliphate.
Shoot, that one was almost correct for Spain, wasn't it?
Oh, this is interesting. Obviously, I feel like it's already this side of Africa right now, but I don't want to bias us. What are y'all thinking?
Not island. I don't think.
Which picture's the man and which one's the woman?
Oh my god! You tell me which one looks like Michelle.
None of these guys are heavyweight champions like Big Mike. I struggle with the Africa one. I think you're right though. I do think it's somewhere around that most.
I would put them in like Sudan if it were me, but
do we dare go like Hutu and Tutsi on that? Like, are we in that region? Because I don't know. Like, I'm not saying Rwanda specifically, but I feel like we're in that part of Africa. We're in deep Africa. We're in like Blood Diamond.
Okay. So you're
genocide, too black to care.
Like building airplanes because they got supply drops during World War II kind of Africa.
We could go with the DRC then.
My guess is somewhere like we're in deep Africa. Like I feel like there's Belgian exploitation.
So there's one thing I want to say here that's like a good point. They both have very narrow noses and kind of tall faces, which is what wants me to put them like further north up in Sudan.
Okay. That was honestly the first thing that came to me was I saw a recent article about a woman who had left her family to go be with a Maasai warrior She met on a vacation. But yeah, where are the Maasai people typically from? I don't even know.
No idea.
I don't remember.
Big, tall dudes. They look like
is Maasai, but I don't remember.
They're not from Baltimore.
This ceremony where they go, hey, do the jumping all in a circle.
Let's see.
They're not from Baltimore.
Okay, yeah, the Maasai are Kenya and Tanzania, so that would be this area right here, Logan.
You know, that's kind of what I was feeling to start with. So I think I'm going to double down on that. I think it's somewhere between South Sudan and Tanzania, and just draw a circle around that, and that would be my contribution.
Okay, so we kind of have like this area here,
that region,
like kind of Uganda,
which is kind of close to Rwanda talk.
Well, like throw it right in the middle of the lake as the safe bet.
Right in the middle. No,
that's a cop out.
We're not going safe. We're not.
Yeah,
we're going for we're trying to hit a perfect score today, Matthew. 50,000 points today.
They're not Rwandan because some of the traits.
Just look into that man's eyes really quick. And do you think that he holds a machete or an AK-47?
AK all day.
Those are AKIs.
Those are AK, yeah, for sure. Rwanda's all
just
dude. That's all. Yeah, Rwanda's all machete. I'm gonna say Uganda. That's my guess.
Uganda, okay. And Logan was feeling Maasai with Kenya, and I was up in Sudan, so we're all kind of in the same area.
Yeah, it seems like we got the.
What if our safe bet is kind of Uganda, but very close to the Kenya border? So kind of here and north of the lake. So we're pretty far away from Rwanda. I'd be okay with this as well.
I like it.
Do we if you guys got your perfect guess, would you move it at all?
I would go north, like to that other borderline, probably. Was what I was thinking in my head. Yeah, like right there was kind of what I was thinking. But that was based only on us picking those 3 locations, that being centralized. That was kind of where my head went.
Okay, and Matt, if you could get your perfect location, where would it be?
It's pretty much there. It's close enough.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave it right here, and we're going to go forward and see what happens. Y'all ready?
Come on, big money.
Oh, nice.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Oh, this is the Maasai Ethiopian subtype.
I nailed it. I knew exactly who I was looking for.
God damn.
Let's fucking go.
I called out the racial group before we picked it. I just didn't know where they were at.
Fantastic work. Excellent.
Let's fucking go.
Ooh, okay. Now this
get ready to get humbled. Yeah, that woman's giving me some.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be like Uttar Pradesh, but like
they
southern.
Look like they're dirty. They look like people that have like defiled their sacred river for sure.
They look like they have a severe porcelain allergy.
All right, they're definitely not Punjab, so I think we got to go further south.
I was even thinking like almost Bangladesh. I don't think they're dark enough for Bangladesh.
I was going to say Bangladesh gets pretty dark though.
That's why I feel like it's got to be like right. They're still in like the scam zone of India, but they're not like deep in.
You talked to this guy on the phone this week. Hello, sir. I have for you a very important business opportunity.
Have you heard of crypto?
Oh my god! You know, if it was me, I would put them right there between the rivers in Uttar Pradesh.
Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh. Everything's about cows over there.
I would like. I was gonna say like northern Pakistan, but
northern Pakistan.
I'm not convinced as I say that out loud.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because you got the big mountain range here. Do you mean like mountain Pakistanis or like past the mountain?
No, I was thinking like somewhere where your cursor is at right now.
Okay.
But I think I'm not convinced of it.
Me neither.
There's something about that woman's face that really looks Indian to me. And I know before you say it, obviously it's impossible to tell Pakistani and Indian apart, but something says Indian to me.
Dude, same.
I'm okay with where it's at.
I like where you put it.
All right, well, let's just jump forward and see what happens.
Let's get it.
Jesus.
Oh, Yemen.
We never would have gotten this one. At least we got some points for it.
What?
Interesting.
Arabian.
Oh, interesting. Veta?
Hold on. Those do not look like pirates.
Yeah, can we get a better look? Can we see that map again? Is it possible to get behind that little pop up a little bit?
What?
Huh.
Interesting.
Damn.
They really hugged that coastline, didn't they?
I didn't.
They did, man.
I definitely didn't think slave labor that died building World Cup stadiums in Qatar.
Yeah, wild. It's interesting though that they gave us points for this. Normally, when you're in like the white area, you don't get any points.
Well,
apparently they're linked.
All good things come to an end. We had three perfects.
The ethno guesser was like, "Yeah, it's hard for us to tell apart too. We'll give you some points."
Okay. Just off my gut, I feel like they're Eritrean, but they very well could be this side as well, like Burkina Faso. This is a tough one.
I was going to go with Western Africa. I'm thinking like child soldiers, warlords.
Oh, that lady looks like every woman that worked in HR at my office jobs I've had in the past.
And where are they from? Did you ever
HR
ask
would
Logan?
be more like Benin.
Oh, you didn't take an interest in your black coworkers, huh? Pretty racist of you. Wow.
Not any of the female ones, anyway.
It's like, oh, I'm Logan. I'm only down with big booty Latinas.
Hey,
fuck out of here with your
all
black
allowed
queens.
to have our favorite flavor.
No black queens up in here,
God,
baby.
I did go out recently with a group of my friends around here, and as I dropped Marty off at the female table and walked over to like 6 goofy white boys all wearing khaki shorts and button-up shirts with baseball hats on. And I turned around and looked, and there were 5 ethnic women at that table behind us. It was like, it feels like we met on a Facebook group and like all came out together.
You love it, dude.
Like, we're starting to look like we have a fetish club here, guys. This is weird.
Well, it sounds like we're kind of stuck here in just this like.
Hold up. So what's your argument for Eritrea?
Yeah, talk us through.
There was a girl in my high school who looked just like this, and she was from
Eritrea.
Eritrea.
But we heard that one last time.
Yeah, and I was wrong last time, but like this. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. My gut just screams.
Yeah, there's something about that young gentleman there that makes me think Horn of Africa. Right, this is the Horn of Africa, not the western side, right?
I was about to ask because I'm pretty sure this is the Horn.
Well, yeah, that's the Horn of Africa. That side.
That's the Horn of Africa. Okay,
the east side.
The buttocks of Africa, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, the dude has a really round face, and so does she, which makes me feel like it actually is kind of like this area of like Guinea, Sierra Leone, Burkina
very
Faso.
wide noses.
Yeah, for some reason I wanted to say Ghana, Ivory Coast area. Like he's giving me like Francis Ngannou lost the genetic lottery vibes. Like it didn't quite work out for him, and he doesn't knock people out with one punch uppercuts.
Is he from Ghana or Togo? Where is he from?
I think he's from Ghana.
Makes sense. Well, I mean, we could put it up here.
Okay.
I mean, if it was going to be me, I'd put it kind of in North Ghana, just because I feel like the guy's round Burkina Faso face. But I'm down with whatever y'all feel on
Pretty
this
round.
I like that. Put it on the border up there.
Yep, I'm down.
I would have put it like here, kind of like near the river in the highlands. And let's see what happens. Oh no!
Oh, you had it in the right spot. We talked you out of it.
No, I didn't, dude. I was gonna like Eritrea. We get 850 points. So let's see, what is this? Mundu Mangbeto. Never heard of that. Northeast
the
Congo.
Megabots.
South Sudan.
Oh, it's a mix of the Hamidics and bamboos. That's interesting.
They're not black enough to be in South Sudan. I saw that basketball team that they sent to the Olympics. They were as black as their jerseys. Poppycock.
Yeah, but I mean, this is more of a
poppycock.
Nope. In South Sudan.
In Sudan, we wear purple jerseys for home, so you can't see our arms coming.
Dude, poppycock. Those people were too light to have any shade in South Sudan. Call bullshit on this game.
Damn.
Physical traits. Dark was the first.
Okay, we got some Turkic dudes.
Yeah, this is. I was about to say. We got.
So where are we gonna put them in this big old chunk here? Maybe like Turkmenistan.
He's got him an Oriental element to his eyes.
So more of the steppe. So like, what, Eastern Kazakhstan? Like
I was thinking Kazakhstan.
Is it that high?
That's plausible, but if it was going to be there, it would almost be like northern Kazakhstan,
right to the Russia border of Kazakhstan, basically.
But she doesn't look. Her face doesn't scream Russian or like any sort of Slavic influence.
Nobody up here looks Slavic, dude. All the Slavic Russians are like in this area.
Oh,
you get here, they look like
stop at the mountain range.
Yeah, they start. That side of Russia starts looking like that guy in the knife fight video.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like you could find a guy like that all through this section here. Like it's kind of weird. Whenever you see like if you stumble across Kazakhstani Instagram accounts, you have no idea where they are because all the text is in Cyrillic, but then they look like they could be potentially Chinese, but not quite. Like if that's the feeling, I feel like it'd be like hereish.
I could even go. I was about to say I could go Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan as well, but it's somewhere. I'm definitely picking up some, like you said, some steppe vibes. So it's got to be.
They have steppe eyes.
It's not Georgia, Armenia. We're on the right side of the sea over there.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely have steppe eyes for sure.
We could just put them like.
Is that one Kyrgyzstan?
Because like the Silk Road just kind of like cuts through here on its way to Urumqi, and that might be like the safest place to put them. Like not too far like over. Like a lot of like the typical Kazakhstani people you see are like Almaty, Bishkek, and whatnot. We could drop them here. I don't know what y'all are laughing about. But...
Logan's comment. He just said stop making up words.
Fair enough. I had an interest in Uzbekistan. I wanted to visit once.
That was
good. It made me sweat.
Oh, that was good. Stop making up words. Oh, they seem too light to be anything like I don't know, like the Tajikistan. They're too light to be there. So Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, they're kind of dark, but they're not that dark. Oh, this is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, if it's me, I'm putting them on the Silk Road right here. But
I kind of like your inclination there. I feel like Kazakhstan gets a little too north, and I feel like in Kazakhstan, to your point, you get less Borat, you get more Mongolian than you would anticipate. Everybody's got Borat in their head for Kazakhstan, but I feel like Kazakhstani typically look a lot more of that Asian influence.
Yeah, Borat.
So I think we're a little south of that.
He really ruined our ideas about what Kazakhstanis look like.
They definitely have, but they have steppe eyes, 100%. Especially
half of them do.
Yeah,
and this is kind of ideal. The dude does it, and the dude does, and the woman doesn't.
Yeah, I don't see it as much with her for sure.
Feels very Kazakhstani to me.
So they took the best.
Yeah, I like
your Silk Road. Let's go
somewhere.
With it.
I like that too. Yes, I agree.
I'm down.
All right, well let's jump through it. Oh, of course they're Turkmenistan. Of course.
Oh,
Turkmenistani.
Trans-Caspian.
Hispanic in there?
Damn, walked ourselves off of it.
Yeah, we did. Oh well.
At least we got out of Kazakhstan.
We are pretty
like
close.
Yeah, we're doing all right. Doing all right.
It's not horrible.
Yeah, at least we didn't go North Kazakhstan. That would have been rough.
Yeah, that was my original inclination. We'd have been wrong.
All right. Which Korea y'all putting them in? Or
I'll say, why'd you zoom over to Oriental Asia so fast? You didn't think about South America for 2 seconds on this one?
Not this one.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we got a little bit rounder face than Japanese. So we're looking at mainland.
Manchuria, perhaps?
Is she Korean?
We had a Manchurian the first time, and I don't remember them looking this way.
You're right. They didn't look like that. Are these the good Chinese, the ones that escaped to Taiwan?
I was about to say, I could see south of China on this a little bit. I could see a Laos here.
No, those aren't Laos.
Too dark to be in Laos.
And remember,
they're too dark, or they're not dark enough to be in Laos. They're too dark to be in Laos.
Look at their eyebrows too. These eyebrows are too soft. Laotians have really strong brow ridges.
Okay, that's fair. That one I like that argument even better than the dark one.
That's why I feel like these are like Koreans.
Oh, but
yeah.
Which are these the freedom-loving Koreans? Well, actually, there's no genetic difference between the two. They're just Koreans.
Right. A nutritional difference.
Well, that's nutrition, ethnic, two different.
But these could be Han Chinese as well. Like I don't know what it is. There's something about. I think Koreans are lighter than these people.
Closer
and
to
Korean chicks are hotter. The guy, for some reason, the guy doesn't give me Korean vibes. Korean men tend to have blockier heads.
Exactly.
Fuller cheeks.
That's kind of why I'm feeling like maybe they're just like on the river in China.
I think I'm with you. Like I still kind of want to go southernish China, but I like that as well.
Are we fully convinced that they're not Japanese?
Yeah, I don't think they're Japanese.
I don't know.
Like, what about Okinawa?
I don't even know where that is. It's like down here somewhere, right?
It's over a little bit to the it's further south to the east, somewhere in there.
Is it maybe this tiny island?
It's somewhere in there.
You think they have anywhere in here the have y'all ever gotten into the northern, I forget the tribe's name, but the northern Japanese that were white people?
The Ainu? They should be in here.
The Ainu. They're definitely not those.
Yeah.
They don't look like they bathed with those monkeys in the springs. You guys know what I'm talking about? Those hot springs.
I have no idea what that's a reference to.
I do know what you're talking about.
So there's like these hot springs in northern Japan where all the monkeys go, and they love to soak in them.
Oh.
But they definitely don't look like they hang out with those.
No. I don't know. This is so tough, man. This is legitimately a hard one.
He especially gives me Chinese vibes.
Yep. She doesn't. She's like the confounding factor.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Really soft.
Yeah, well, just add in, the rape of Nanking and the occupation of Japan. And that dilutes the genetics of the women.
So we're down to like basically three guesses. It's either Han Chinese, some version of Korea, or Japan. We're not so hot on Korea.
And I'm really not that convinced of Japan. Because they don't look irradiated enough to come from southern Japan.
They could be, though.
Oh, I don't know. It's tough.
Like her face, she could be Japanese. Like she could be like maybe northern Japanese. Maybe.
So the question is like, does he look like he would commit seppuku if he was dishonored?
Yes.
Never brought a great dishonor to your family. You must have killed yourself.
So if he is
guess with the correct origin of my ancestry.
This is. So
I like
tough.
where the pin's at. I'm standing my ground. I like where the pin's at right now.
All right, Matthew.
I like it. I'm not going to argue with you guys.
All right, we'll stick with it. If it's Japanese, then so be it.
Ooh,
wow. All right. I'm an idiot.
They're too dark to be Laos.
You were totally
couldn't
right.
possibly go with Laos.
Well, sorry, Logan.
Yep, that's all my fault.
Oh, I have to eat some of that too. That's our fault.
Yeah, fair enough. We both tried to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
No, he ain't.
There, Laotian.
He's Laotian, ain't you?
No way.
Ancient Mr. God.
Look at that. I fucking nailed that one.
I mean, it's northern. Damn. Didn't ever think.
Yeah, I really should.
Didn't ever think like punji sticks and beating the French.
Yeah, they both looked Vietnamese if we'd really thought about it.
Oh
shit! I'm gonna say again,
Islands
area already.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What do y'all want to pick out of this? We've got Australia, New Guinea, maybe part of Indonesia.
Ooh, something about their face structure tells me like white people have not like had a massive influence, but they've been there. The way his face reminds me of, I don't know, it's like that looks like some European settlers got in there.
Do we think they have curly hair or straight hair based on these composites?
Curly.
Ooh. That one does look like Michelle Obama. So
they look curly to me. Both those give me like it's a bunch of afros that got mashed together by which one. That's why is she so much darker than he is?
It's a good question. And based on the color of the composites, I think we could actually rule out New Guinea, but I'm not quite sure.
Show your work, sir.
It's just every photo I've ever seen of like New Guinea and like the cannibals and whatnot, they all looked darker than these people.
New Guinea cannibals, all the same.
See, that's where it's getting me is like, maybe that's a good point that Matthew brought up, that it looks like they're too light complected, but they're too light complected for Aboriginals of Australia as well.
Yeah.
Unless you're counting some people, like this guy's 40% or 70% Aboriginal, and we took his picture for this project because he's in the tribe, but his grandfather was white, kind of thing. So is there more? There's got to be more mixing in Australia, right? Because there's way more honkies out there.
I don't know, but their noses are definitely Aboriginal noses.
Oh, yes, they are.
They're very broad.
I picked up on that myself.
So do we...
I don't know.
I think I like Matt's argument that I would lean Australia over New Guinea because of the complexion. And I feel like New Guinea, when they land there, they just eat those honkies, don't they?
Possibly.
So I guess we put them kind of like in the north area of Australia if we're aiming for Aborigine.
Hold up, but before we do that, did Australians like Aborigines? Like, did they, like, was that, how do I say this? And not even properly.
Are you asking if they intermixed?
Yeah, like were they subject to taking of the colonizers, or were they just like, you guys go?
Oh, were they raped?
It was a big problem in Quigley Down Under for sure.
I used to watch a bit of Australian TV, and they picked a lot of like mixed Aboriginals for actresses and actors. So I suspect there's probably some, but maybe they're picking just people who look exotic, and maybe they're rarer than they seem in TV.
What about? Oh no, because I was gonna say like my dark horse might be like northern Indonesia, but they don't seem Asian enough.
Yeah, I was about to say you start getting smaller stature.
Yeah, and the nose is the wrong shape. This could also end up ruining us. They could end up being like Yemeni or something, and we're just sitting here like, what?
Those people do not look like they fire small arms at boats and airplanes.
There's like a section of people in Yemeni who are like more African than anything else, and they have a lot of African features, which would explain this guy's face like really well.
Holy fuck, we picked the wrong country to migrate to. Thought it was supposed to get better when we got out of Africa. What the fuck happened?
But I'm at a real loss. I'm not sure I can.
Yeah, I'm actually same.
Yeah,
there's also a chance that there's some form of like Micronesian.
Yeah, there absolutely is. That crossed my mind too. I don't know. I'm getting some Aborigine vibes though, especially from this woman.
The broad nose. I mean, that's a very wide nose.
She really is. Huh. All right. So what do y'all want to lock in? Do you want to lock in the
I like where you're at.
I like it. I like where we're
at.
at.
All right. Yeah, let's see what happens.
Close
if
enough.
it's Yemeni, I'm gonna laugh. Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, we should have taken your advice last second.
No score for that.
Dang, man, I almost said too that we should do that northern tip closest to Papua New Guinea, and I should have said that. We'd have been a lot closer.
Yeah, we would have gotten some decent points.
We'd have got a couple.
We are really flagging here at the end.
Damn, we really fell off. 3 perfects, and I feel like the game picked up on our goodness and our expertise, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna throw them some curveballs because these guys are on their game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, another tough one, but these feel like they're definitely.
Where'd you say you were from again, Kiefer?
Well, actually, my shit updated now. Now I'm like here and Egypt, like a lot stronger.
Okay.
Too dark to be Egypt, I think.
Yeah, I feel like these are.
Yes, too dark to be Egyptian, but I kind of feel something north of Kenya.
Yeah, these are Ethiopians. I don't know how I didn't pick that up. Like this is.
Yeah.
So what they're definitely they're marathon runners? Is that?
No, they're past marathon runners. They're the original Semites, brother.
Yeah, these are the real tribe of Israel.
Kyrie with his Black Israelites. Let's go.
These are the kind of people that make Israel outlaw 23andMe and stuff. I was afraid of the truth.
Oh, absolutely.
These guys guarding the Ark of the Covenant right here.
Oh, so here's the real question, actually. Are they Tigray or are they Amharic?
I don't know what
I actually have no idea. So.
I feel like they're Tigray.
I'm going to take your word on that.
But before we click it in, do you guys have any other thoughts?
No, I said it. I felt like it was somewhere north of Kenya, and you immediately picked out Ethiopia with confidence. So I feel super good about this one.
Oh, so you can read a map.
I really feel like
I was going off of general.
I was just being
vibes and color swatches, and Kiefer knew a country in that region he felt confident on. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens. Matt, you good?
I'm fine.
Fuck.
Oh man. It was exactly where you just told us you were from. Hilarious.
Oh my god, dude! Why am I so bad?
Wrong.
West Ethiopian.
That said Ethiopia in the name. How the fuck are we wrong?
That hurts.
Ethiopian.
This actually hurts. I don't even understand.
Where are they from again?
Ethiopians.
Show the
map again.
I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Hold up. Nah, poppycock.
Huh. All right. Well, my confidence
might be the hottest. Might be the hottest chick that's been on the list tonight too.
Honestly, Logan, you're not wrong. She is
chick.
Very female. All right, let's see if we can at least. Fuck.
Fuck. All right, go back to where we just were.
What did they just? It's two of the same people.
Okay, so what part? No, they're not that black in South America.
Oh no, this is definitely here somewhere. And realistically, here somewhere.
Dude, that's like some.
There's a lot of greenery in the background, so
I'm getting definitely like limbs chopped off for lack of rubber quotas.
Yeah, this is definitely the Belgians. You're talking
about. This is like deep. Yeah. This is deep Africa, heart of Africa.
Yeah, go. I was about to say, does the map turn green where the jungles are?
I was about to say this is a jungle and as black as you can get. So, where's the I'm thinking like jungle on the equator.
This is the equator right here.
Find the greenest region on the equator.
Yeah, it's the best I've got. There's no other place they can be. Where else would they be from?
I immediately was thinking Congo too, so that's pretty close to where my knee-jerk reaction was.
Yeah.
Just click on one of them words you can't pronounce and lock it in.
I'm at a real loss. The only thing I'm gonna say as well, they could be one of these like random, like crazy islands out here that's like uncontacted.
Yeah. But goddamn, they're black though.
Hey, there's some of them islands got some dark people.
But
they're not all Polynesians.
That.
But okay, so their faces, their skin color, super black, but their faces actually are not that black. They've both got narrow noses. They've both got fairly thin faces down to the jawline as well, which makes me want to put them in some like crazy, stupid island down here. Not the Seychelles or the Maldives, but I don't know. Like maybe even here. Oh well.
Do they manufacture black people there?
There's a few in this little area here. But I don't know. Like it's safer just to click the equator in Africa. I don't know. Anyways, those are my thoughts.
Got it personally.
I'm down to lock it in as well.
I'm down to lock it in.
All right, let's see what happens.
If you're right. Oh my God.
You nailed it. Holy shit. Oh, you were exactly right. We talked you out of it.
So much. I hate this so much, dude.
Oh my God.
Good call on your side, though. You nailed it. You had the only right answer, too. It wasn't even going to be correct anywhere else. Wow.
And here I am. It's like they manufacture black people there.
Oh my God.
Wow. Bluish, brown, black skin. They put bluish in the description of their skin color.
Yeah. I mean, these people are like super dark.
Holy shit. Well, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, man.
So
we have all talked each other out of the right answer. The moral of
this story is like we all talk each other out of the right answer.
That's crazy. What is that island again?
Wild.
Let's say Port Blanco? That seems inaccurate.
A little bit, doesn't it? Oh, Port Blair.
I knew it wasn't Blanco. It was just funnier to say that.
Damn.
You know what I was just thinking that I've never really thought? There are no, we've never hit like an uncontacted tribe on an island that was white, right? They're always either black or Polynesian. Do we even know any Asian islands like that we've contacted that were just Oriental Asian people on an island?
Japan?
I wonder if that just says something to like the earlier, maybe the lost civilization talk of like, you know, when we were spreading around the world before there were even really established white people of any civilized, it had to have been all of our seafarers were these Polynesian cultures or these African cultures, or maybe some Olmecs, if you believe the opposite of the Polynesian, that we got the Polynesian spread backwards and they were actually the original South Americans.
It's certainly possible, but you know, looking at so like skin color is one of those things. Is like just a reaction to the UV.
That's fair too. You are going to be darker on islands more often than not.
You can show up and like your skin gets darker even if your
that's actually that's a really good point. There are 0 islands in the world that are going to create people that look like me. there aren't any mountainous islands with ski resorts on top of them.
I mean, there is this one up here. Yeah, Iceland.
There's one. Damn.
Yeah, you're right. You are right, though. Anybody who sticks around long enough is gonna. But I feel like they're all of that Polynesian descent, though.
No, these people are different.
Those obviously,
they're the ones in that one island where you're still not allowed to go to. Like India owns these.
Where like that preacher went and got filled with spears.
Yeah. Exactly that. I don't know. Let's see if this description says like what they're mixed with, but they're not pygmies like the whatever area down here has the pygmies. But they're probably more closely related to like Malaysians and Aboriginals than they are to Africa.
I'm small-headed.
I think there's phrenology in there.
Is so high. Like I'm upset that there are people that are more racist than us.
That's our average.
Well, I mean, look, we're in the top 38% of today.
Yeah, I don't think that's the average score for that. That's our average score for the 10 guesses.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
actually bad when you consider we didn't even get 50%.
Yep, we're right about half. But like, look, the highest score is here in the 1700s. Not even at 30%. So, you know, us being almost 50, it's not bad.
God damn, look at that one outlier over there.
Very curious what this guy is. One guy.
It's the Geo Rainbolt of ethnic guesser.
Absolutely.
One guy with a whole lot of Hitler memorabilia in his closet.
I feel like they added more since the last time we played. Because last time we played, we saw like 2 or 3 of the same faces. This time, we didn't see anything we've seen before, which is kind of nice. It makes it feel like the game's got more legs on it than we previously thought.
You're adding dogs. They might as well take a couple more pictures of people.
And notice all of the additions are dark.
I did think could have been funnier to say monkeys instead of people there, and that would have been super racist.
Well, if the shoe fits.
You were away from the mic earlier, but I said it'd be funny if the next one they added was cat, and just no matter where you clicked, it was like, yeah, all cats are the same. You got it.
Look at this, guys. They have race-specific modes.
I saw that the other day when I was looking through it.
Ooh, I think we need to brush up on our African.
That's how you practice right there. You just play 10 rounds in a row of Africa, and then you come out swinging.
Honestly, yeah. And they have a lot of Africa, too. They have Sub-Saharan and Middle Eastern North Africa. And then they also give us India and Austronesia, so we get to like really pick these apart.
I'm coming in next week.
Oh, you gonna practice?
I'm gonna practice. I won't.
Holy shit, I'm not spent an hour playing Ethno Guesser at the end of this. I just realized.
Oh shit! Yeah, how long have we were?
Oh, it's 3 hours.
3 hour mark. All of a sudden, we were just down 2 when we started that. Jesus, we got so into the game. We played for so long.
I'm gonna leave a comment on the YouTube video just so people know.
Like check out an hour or 2.
The last hour is just Ethno Guesser.
Only Ethno Guesser. If that's what you're here for.
15 minutes. I literally thought it'd only been 15 minutes.
So long.
It's almost fucking midnight, dude.
Yeah, we did chew up an hour. Yep. Well, all right. Thank you very much for tuning in for Against the Mob podcast. Something conspiracies. Epstein did kill himself. The government is your friend, and definitely believe the official story because there's nothing nefarious going on out here. And we will be back next week with elevated racism. We will do better. You guys got anything else?
No, I'm good.
I'm good with that.
All right. See you guys.
Later.
See you, buddy.